What are you doing?
I gotta pack up, about to head to Texas. All right, which bag do I want to use? Wish I had my own G&B bag.
Hey, you got a package.
Barbers! What's going on, everybody? I go by the name of It's Marvy Marv, and you are now tuned in to another live episode of Gem Talk, where we have conversations that inspire greatness. And as you can see today, I got the owner of Clutch Barbershop. I got Tune 45 lead educator. I got the man who's built up to over 100K on YouTube and been providing a lot of really dope education for barbers. And I got the man who recently, as you just seen in that video, did a dope collab with G&B Pro. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I got Sean Cuts here with me. What's going on, bro?
What's up, bro? Let's just, hey, just real quick, just, you know, because it's right here and we're in the studio, man. Come on.
Let's take a minute to celebrate.
Let's just look at this thing, man. So y'all can't see. Let me see if I can turn. I got a little I got all these bags over here, right? You see all the bags.
Yes, sir.
I've been rocking with G&B forever. And to be honest, we're tight, man. We're really close. I shot him a DM one night. I was like, yo, I think it's time. I got to do a bag. Like I got to have a bag. And here we are. So I didn't think it was going to happen, to be honest. And here it is. So I'm hyped, man. This thing is just too sick. The green, got my logos on it. So I'm just so hyped, bro. It's been a crazy week. We'll get into more, but just crazy.
Let's go, man. Everybody flood the chat with some fire emojis. Let's show Sean some love. That bag looks, it looks pretty. That's perfect placement too, bro. It looks good, man. You love them bags, huh? Them G&B Pro bags?
Yeah, they're solid. I mean, I got my babyless bag I use sometimes depending. Like, to be honest, if I'm carrying it, I don't take the big one because it's like 35 pounds full. But most of the time I go on the road, I put it in a suitcase anyways to like get it through the airport. So I'll pack the full size. So I'm stoked to have my own though. And, you know, I got some pretty cool customs, but this is obviously top of the line.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. As you see, the fire emojis is coming in.
Love
Barbers, if you guys don't already follow Sean Cuts Hair, make sure you do on all social media platforms. Does his thing on YouTube, man. So for those of you that are barbers that want to learn, which I know you all are because you wouldn't be here if you didn't want to learn, make sure you follow him on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, make sure you do if you enjoy the Gem Talks. Smash the like button. It helps a lot more than you know. And I'm going to encourage you guys, man, to ask questions in the chat. We'll do our best to make sure that we get to them at some point. It might not be in real time, but for those of you who have tapped in to these Gem Talks, you know that we always have the Q&A portion. So we'll make sure we'll cover them. You guys do the super chats. We'll do our best to get to those as soon as possible. I don't feel like you have to, but if you do, just know y'all get priority. You know what I'm saying? Barbers. So, Sean, man, let's talk, bro. This is going to be the first time we've had one of these long conversations, right? A lot of our conversations have just been in passing.
For sure. Yeah, I'll tell you something funny. So we got this thing in my shop that we call the barbershop effect. And I'll give you an example first. I just changed my pricing and my schedule a little bit. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. And I'm going through my phone to text people, all of my clients I hadn't seen in 2 years. And I thought, you know what? I probably don't need to text him this update because he's like, I'm not saying he's not a client, but I haven't seen him in 2 years. So probably not worth it. Well, he texted me the next day talking about he hasn't had a haircut in 2 years and can he come in? And so we call that the barbershop effect. Like I'll talk about something and then see that person or whatever. So I was in Tampa 2 weeks ago and with Josh O.P. and some of those guys, Dre was there, some of the Tomb guys, and we were talking and your name came up. And I just kind of jokingly said, like, yeah, I don't think Marv likes me. Like, I don't think Marv rocks with me. And they was like, why? And I was like, yo, I'd be on all his gym talks. And then all I got to do is pop in there and say what's up. And people are like, Marv, get Sean on there. Marv, get Sean on there. And I said, but he not trying to put me on there. And I come home from Tampa. Yo, you want to do this gym talk? I'm like, bro, get out of here. That's crazy. So
it is weird how it works like that, right?
It does. It does.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time, bro. The way I schedule these out too is like I'm so last minute with stuff just because social media moves quick. You know what I'm saying? So scheduling things out in advance, I understand why that works for people, but for me, I feel like social media moves quick, and sometimes you got to be like right on, you know, the hot thing or the trend thing. So I don't like to schedule out too far. So I have this whole list of people, you know what I'm saying, that I've been wanting to do gem talks with. And obviously you was on the list. I was just waiting for the time to pop up to reach.
Right time. Yeah, this is it.
It's funny though how you was like, yo, Marv don't like me. Do I give off that energy, bro?
No. I was more of a joke, but kind of what you said, like just because of how it's landed, we've never really had no more than 20 seconds to say what's up. That's all it's ever been. And then, like I said, I popped on, like I was on Basio and Josh's gym talk, and like just popping in, people say, oh, Sean's in the building. Marv put Sean on. Marv put Sean on. So I just jokingly said, like, I don't think he's trying to put me on there. I don't think he messed with me. Yeah. And I come home and you had messaged me like, yo, you trying to be on there in 2 weeks? I'm like, yes.
Yes. Yo, the universe was like, yeah, here's what you was talking about. Here's what you manifested. And here's the thing, bro, because a lot of people are always asking me, like, how do I get on a gem talk? How can we do one? And asking me, you know, the criteria, right? And it's tough for me to really put into words, but I kind of just like know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know who I want to have conversations with. And even though we haven't had long interactions, bro, I'm 37 years old. I done been traveled. I done met a lot of people. How old are you?
36.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we had some life experience under our belt. And for me, just even in our brief passing and seeing what you do and consuming some of your content and all that, I'm like, you're the perfect energy for gym talk.
Yeah. And I think the company you keep, right? Like, I think I see who you deal with and who you mess with. You know who I deal with. So that's one of my favorite things since I've come up in the industry and gained clients. And just, you know, if I know somebody that's closer to you and they vouch for you, then I can know that Marv's a solid dude. So I think that's kind of what you're getting at too, is just, you know, we don't have to spend a lot of time together to know that we can, you know, even though I thought you didn't like me, that we can have a good conversation here.
Like, yo, why is this dude? The people are asking. The people want to see me. I'm out here grinding. Why is this dude ain't put me on Gym Talk? But here we are today, and I know you're gonna bring a ton of value. And you were just speaking about how you're with Josh and all of them. Tomb 45, bro. Tomb 45, I support everything they do. I always tell Basio that, and I always tell the people that come across my content, if you're looking to invest in anything barber education related or product related, I'm always going to vouch for everything that Tomb 45 does. You know what I'm saying? And having you a part of what they do, it is dope. You know what I'm saying? It does say, like you said, it says a lot, right? The company you keep. How did that come about? How did you connect with Tomb 45? And you're the lead educator, right?
Yeah. So it's a long story, but I'll try to summarize it for you. But we
got time.
Yeah, we got time. And I think, you know, we spoke before about kind of some of the things we wanted to hit on in this gym talk. So I think that this story the meaning behind it, the significant parts of it will go along with everything that we want to talk about this whole time. But so long story short, you know, you kind of mentioned, you know, we've been cutting hair for a while. So when we came up, YouTube wasn't what it was. Instagram didn't have videos.
Yeah.
I don't know if Instagram was a thing when I was in school, actually. I think I started my Instagram right after. But so Basio was the main person that I watched. And I literally watched like 6 of his videos the night before I did my first haircut ever, before I went to school, just to see, you know, if I was going to like it at all or if I was going to be decent at it. I was always kind of handy and could do things with my hands. And I thought I could do it. But anyway, so, you know, fast forward over the years, I learned a ton from Basio. Obviously, he starts Tomb 45. And I start going to shows. You know, early on, I'm from a small town, so it's like 50,000. But as far as like, there's no hair shows here, there's no education coming here. So I really had to go out of my way to go make this happen, what I've been able to make happen.
Where are you at? What
I'm in
city you
Kentucky, so Owensboro, Kentucky. It's like 50,000. So
got you. Yeah, small.
But so yeah, so I started to see on Instagram and through Bassio's YouTube just kind of what was out there. And obviously, like I've been a barber 10 years, like in a couple months it'll be 10 years. 10 years ago, it was not like this.
Nah, bro.
It wasn't near as big, it wasn't as cool, whatever, but I could still see through Instagram a lot of the stuff that was out there. And I knew that I wanted more than, no offense to the shop I started in, but all the shops in my town are like, get out of school, go cut hair. That's it forever.
Yeah.
Like
do that until
you're
97.
Oh yeah, never learn again. They're using vacuum clippers, which people nowadays don't even know what that is. Is what's funny.
Yo, crazy on the Osters.
Yeah, on the 76s. So I just saw that there was more, and I wanted to do something more. Right, I never knew what that really was going to be, but so once I started to see Bassio going to, not just him, but through his channel, going to shows. Bronner Brothers is probably the closest show to me. So I drove to Atlanta to go to a show. I just started going out, right, and going to shows. And kind of like I said, this story is going to teach my main point that I tell people on getting to wherever you want to get to. But I always say just showing up, but we'll call it consistency. So long story short, I kept showing up. There's multiple scenarios where, the end of the show, I don't know if you remember, the 245 booth had this giant metal
Looked like wrestling.
Like oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dude,
WWE.
It was crazy. So actually Bronner Brothers and another show right after, me and a couple of my guys were there. And, it just so happened that, Bassio and Danny had to fly out and something. And there was like, Dre was left by himself to tear down. So of course I offered to help, right? Like that's just me anyways. And those were some guys I messed with. So I offered to help. And then Connecticut, I believe 2019 CT Barber Expo, I bought a booth because I was tired of being the spectator. I wanted to be the barber behind the booth because that was something that I knew I wanted to do eventually. So I thought, you know what? I'll just buy my own booth. And you've done. I remember seeing you early on. You had a booth with 20 T-shirts and a couple pins, and that was it. But
that's it.
It's different, right? Like it's different than being on the other side of the booth. So I bought a booth. I don't remember who I talked to with CT, but they're like, "Hey, here's the floor plan. Where you want to be?"
Probably
so
Rui. That dude Rui.
Rui. It was Rui. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the booth was right behind 245 was available. I said, "Yeah, let me get that one." So because again, I want to keep showing up. They've seen my face a few times, and if you're telling me I can be right behind them, that's where I'm going. So the power mat dropped that year. They had something like 2,000 power mats, and only 5 power mats fit in a box about this big. And they had nowhere to store them. So they came and they asked me, they knew me, right? Because I had been around. I kept showing up. And they were like, "Hey, man, like, is this all you're doing over here? You got 20 shirts and you're cutting some hair?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's it." They're like, "Do you care if we put some stuff in your booth?" Of course, I said yes. And so Danny actually came over and talked to me and really was, Danny's a pretty funny guy. I don't know if you've had many conversations.
Oh, yeah. Danny's wild.
Danny's not a barber. He's business. So he's just funny and straightforward. So he said,
no filter at all.
Yeah, no. He said, like, "Well, I don't mean any offense by this, but why did you get a booth to sell 20 shirts? Like, if you sell every shirt, you're still negative $1,000. And I said, I want to be a platform artist. I want to cut at a booth or at a show or whatever. And so I just made my own way to do it. And so an hour later, he came over and told me that I was up on the Tomb stage, which I was scared to death. Scared to death.
Heart was pounding, bro.
Oh my God.
Shaky.
I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. And so anyway, after that, I talked to him a little bit. He challenged me, like, kind of put your money where your mouth is. Like, if this is really what you want to do, we'll be in Orlando at Premiere next week. If you come, we'll give you a shirt. You can work the booth. You can cut again. Like, and at the time, dude, I'm still cutting 5 days a week. I'm not making a ton of money. I'm like, holy crap. Like, I got to go to Orlando. Now that's nothing to go CT Orlando 2 weeks in a row. But back then, holy cow, I'm going to leave the shop again. So I charged the ticket on my credit card. I knew that was my opportunity. And I went, and from that point on, I was at everything. And I paid my own way until this past year. Well, that was 2019. I paid my own way for 2 or 3 years. slept on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever I had to do. And so, yeah, I mean, I showed up until the opportunity arose, which is kind of the point I want to get out from that. And the opportunity came up, and then I had, obviously I had to seize it. So whatever that meant, I took care of it, and here we are today. So
Barbers, I love that. Y'all got to flood the chat with some fire emojis, man. You sharing that story is so dope, bro, and I appreciate you for sharing it because you're 100% right when you talk about showing up, when you talk about spending your own money, investing money that you don't necessarily have to make sure you're putting yourself in the room and then around the people that you're looking to build with and connect with, you know what I'm saying? And then just having the courage and the bravery to stand up to the challenge, right? Because that's scary in itself. Just, you know what I mean? You're dealing with, it's Tomb 45, you know what I'm saying? It's not just any old body. This is a company that's put in a lot of work, and it's got a lot of really dope people, attached to it. You know what I'm saying? So for you to go through all of that and to see where you're at today, it only makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Why you've been able to have so much success and do so many amazing things, and you're continuing to build. You know what I mean? And it's always funny to me when people see, like you, for example, and doing a lot of really cool stuff. And, there's that part of them that thinks like, must be nice, that whole must be nice type of thing. And it's just dope that we have opportunities like this here where you get to shine light on the fact that, listen, man,
it ain't nice.
No, it's
ain't
work.
Luck. Yeah, it's work.
Yeah, and it's cool, man. So as you see everybody coming in, the hustle don't stop, fire emojis. Yeah, I love it, man. Respect to you for that.
I see some of my people in there. That's what's up. I'm glad y'all are on here.
Yeah,
let me something you said, I want to branch off on that. You said lead educator, and so branching off of getting the early opportunity, I stayed around. And like I said, I paid my way and I did whatever needed to be done. I could tell you story after story that I was cussing and mad and doing stuff, but I did it anyways, right? And so during COVID, when we were all shut down, I've not taken a week off from YouTube since I started 4 years ago. So back to the showing up, right? Like I never don't show up. I'm always consistent. And so I got a call from Dre, and he said that Bazio was wanting to expand the academy, and they saw my consistency through COVID, and that kind of proved that this fool ain't never going to not do what he says he's going to do. And so they added me to the academy. And then in the same way, some of the guys that were a part of the academy, they just had difficulty. You guys know, like life gets difficult. Some weeks you can't do it, some weeks you can. And I was always the one to fill in and make sure that if somebody had to be on the live, I was on the live. And so 2 years of the academy, I kind of stayed through having some people jump in. Some people, can't do it anymore. They don't have time and whatever. And so, obviously you had Basio on here not long ago. He's shifted totally to the business side, really, right? Like business, mentorship, all of that. So not literally a job opening, but there was a job opening for somebody to teach the haircutting side. And I hung around long enough. And now, I there's no official titles with Tomb or anything, but I'm I guess the lead educator. They did kind of give me that. But I mean, how crazy to just stick around while things shift and twist and turn. And I've seen so many people that used to come around, not come around because it's expensive or they have kids and some people just can't make it happen. But I've held through, and now I'll be honest, man, I even got opportunities I wish I could tell you about on this live.
Yeah.
That I can't tell you about. That's coming. Like it's like I'm in a moment, like not right now, but like this past month where I'm like, man, like everything from this point on is beyond what I ever envisioned. Like I wanted to work with Toon. I wanted to do some of the things I've done, but we're getting to the beyond what I ever imagined. I never thought I'd be on a live with Marv.
Yeah, hey, I never thought I'd be on the live with you, bro. Yeah. Like, listen. At the end of the day, man, I respect hard work and grind and hustle, and you know what I'm saying. And I more than all of that, I highly respect people that are doing everything in their power to empower people in a positive way and help people. You know what I'm saying? And you in particular, I have a lot of respect for it because, bro, I'm a content creator too. You know what I'm saying? I travel too. I've done classes too. So more than anybody, I know what you go through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can relate. I know the work you're putting in. When I see your content on YouTube and your videos, and bro, you already know. I already know what them nights be looking like in them days. I already know. So the fact that we're having a conversation, just as excited as you are to have it with me, I am to have it with you, bro. You inspire me the same way I inspire you. I mean, maybe in different ways, but we both, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We both inspire each other. As far as you getting involved in the whole educational side of things, where did that come from? Like, what made you want to do that?
So before I was a barber, so like I said, I'm 36. I've been cutting 10 years. So I was 26 when I started barbering, and I was a restaurant manager at the time for Buffalo Wild Wings. And so I had been in the restaurant industry for like 10 and a half years. Like, that was my only job I ever had. And one thing I was a trainer at I only worked at a couple restaurants, but I was a trainer for every position. And, one thing I always felt like was, everybody's worked a job where the people around them suck, or they can't, they don't work hard, or whatever it is. And so I always felt like if I could train them, that's the best bet for them to operate how I would like to operate, the team around me.
Yeah.
So I could train them up so that when they all came in, we did things, similar and could work together well. And I always felt like that was the best way to build a strong team around you, was for the leader to train them on the way that we want it to be done. And so when I started to cut hair 2 years in, I opened my shop. Every single one of my barbers was brand new.
Yeah.
So some of them were friends that went to school because I was a barber and was going to open a shop. Some were other barbers that came out of school. But now I have 13 barbers in my shop, and I've probably
that's
had
a lot of personalities to deal with. Good for you,
brother. Tell me.
Yeah.
You see
There's
where
6
I'm
of us
at
in mine, so I hear you.
You see where I'm at. I'm in my studio. The shop's out there.
Yeah, I hear you. Giving
I
yourself
love my
that
guys.
space. Yeah,
But
it's tough though.
yeah, it's tough, no doubt. Just to deal with all that. But point being, early on, same way. I knew if I wanted my shop to operate how I wanted to operate, then I needed to be that guy that was wide up, like open book, no secrets. I don't know that it's like this in shops, but it's definitely like this from shop to shop. We don't want to teach anything that's going to give somebody else our knowledge or our secrets or whatever. So I saw that if I want to have the best shop, then I need to tell these guys everything I know that they're willing to listen to, and really groom them up to be the best they can be. And then this is a little interesting fact about the state of Kentucky, but early on, the state of Kentucky told me that in no capacity was I allowed to teach.
Really?
So I couldn't do classes, anything like that. So by law, they say that to teach, well, what was the wording? Because I about cussed a lady out over this, but
yeah,
and I'm not even like that. But the board lady told me, it said something about to teach barbering, you must have an instructor's license.
Yeah, they want you to pay them some money. That's what they want.
Yeah. But what it meant was to teach in a school.
Yeah,
you have to have a barber educator license. So long 5 years later, I actually went to the board, sat down with them, explained what 245 does, explained that I've traveled all over the country teaching, and that they won't let me teach in my home state. It's crazy because it's kind of the same thing, right? I want to elevate Kentucky. Kentucky's behind. If you guys hold me back, then Kentucky's going to stay doing what it's doing. And so my dog. But so anyway, I went to YouTube before I got all that squared away. I went to YouTube. I'm like, okay, I'll teach. I got subscribers all over the world. And so as closed-minded as my state board was, I'm thinking, all right, y'all keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to go teach everything I know to everybody else that wants to hear it. And it just took off. And that was just, I just wanted to put out what I knew. And if one thing I say helps somebody, I'm seeing some comments over here. Like, I learned everything I learned about cutting hair I saw from Sean's channel, whatever it be. That was my outlet to put that out. And so it's just grown from there, and it's unreal, to be honest.
Yeah, man, it's dope. We're grateful for you, man, because like I said in the post, bro, back when I was in barber school, my school ain't even open no more, right? They just go to show you how my school was. And it was a fun experience, right? I met some cool people. The people that ran it were cool. And I had, you know, a couple teachers that were cool, but, you know, knowing what I know now, I ain't learned nothing in barber school. And yeah, fortunately, like I said on my post, we got people nowadays who are working to raise the standard of barber schools and elevate it and do some of this, you know, cool stuff. Like Will Stan, my homie, for example, opened his in Atlanta and he's taking it to the next level, right? So we do have some of that coming about, but there still are a lot of schools that, you know, do the bare minimum. You know what I mean? So fortunately for nowadays, there are people like you that are going in, reviewing all types of stuff on your page, sharing all types of game and knowledge and insight. Because again, back when I was in school, I didn't have a ton of people. We had Timeless Vic Damone, bro. How many, bro? I watched his videos. I'm up late night watching his joints. Like, how do I get my fades like that?
Yeah.
You know, Al's Millions was helping me with customer service and understanding the branding side of it. Jay the barber was dropping game. Cake and his Randy, he had them fast feeds. He doing them tapers in the garage. So those are some of the people that really stood out to me, you know. But nowadays there's so many, but even though there's so many, there's still a handful who are really doing it. And I think, you know, you're one of them ones that, you know, you have that energy of genuinely trying to empower and help people. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously you want to make money because the money's going to allow you to make a bigger impact and things like that. But you're out here giving your open book. You ain't trying to hide nothing. It's not just about clout for you. You know what I'm saying? So we're grateful for you, bro, that you're out here killing it. You see how many people have learned from you. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, and that's been a funny battle, right? Because I'm 4 years into YouTube, and you know, I've learned a lot about YouTube and how it works. And you know, I've had discussions with other friends of mine that do YouTube, and in a respectful way, they're like, dude, your content's boring. Like if you're trying to get 1 million subscribers and whatever, your content's boring. And the thing is like, yeah, 1 million subscribers sounds great, but I'm doing what I wanted to do. This is why I did YouTube. I'm not trying to, as stupid as that GMB release video was, that's not me, man. Like a lot of people were like, dude, that was good. Like it was funny. And I can edit well, but I'm not an actor. I am funny. Like I can do some funny stuff, more natural, but like making entertaining videos and whatever it is that maybe would get me more followers, more subscribers is just not my thing. And so, you know, kind of in the same way that me sticking to what I do got me the spot with the Academy, and you know, I have I think I'm at 113,000 subscribers. When we talk about it sometimes with Dre and selling tickets for classes and things, I sell tickets to classes. You know why? And people know that I'm going to teach.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be funny. I'm not going to entertain. I'm here to bring some knowledge. And so what could be seen as like, you know, a downside, or like my channel could be better if I was doing more funny stuff. You know, I'll use Marty Blends. You know, we're pretty cool. His content is more for entertainment. And the dude's going to be, he's probably the third biggest YouTube channel on Barber YouTube channel right now.
Right.
So stick, whatever. Like that's his thing. That's not my thing. So I'm happy with where I'm at. Getting on here, dude, seeing the comments, going to shows, seeing the comment. You get the same thing. You go to a show, dude, you can't even stop because everybody's like, Marv, man, your content, you know, this helped me so much, whatever. As long as that's happening, I don't care about the subscribers and all that.
Yeah. And I think the thing you have is just you're genuine, bro. Like you're authentic. You communicate in a way that people can feel your authenticity. You know what I'm saying? So aside from all of the other shenanigans, you know, the entertainment or the wild edits and all of that, like, sure, I've seen how your content's fire, right? With you doing it, some of the editor and all the other stuff, you do some really cool stuff. But even aside from that, just the fact that you are genuinely trying to help people, it can be felt through the screen. So that's why you can sell tickets to in-person classes. That's why when you go to events, people really connect with you. I'm sure you probably heard some deep stories and had people with tears in their eyes and hugging you, and you're building that type of community.
I saw a comment, I think, on your post about this. and somebody said that like Sean's been my mentor for 4 years. And I'll keep it 100 with you. I didn't recognize the name.
It's fire, bro.
But that just tells you that even without me one-on-one helping somebody, just putting out general stuff, that some people are really gaining that much. And like, that's crazy. So if I'm helping that many people, and if you guys are really in a better place than you were because of my content, then I'm doing right. So I was laughing because I saw Cutflow Dre say, while I said that, he took the tag off his wig. That's the point, though, right? Like, that's Dre's thing, bro. Keep being funny and doing. I'm not like that. I'm not funny like that.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm just looking because I got a wig too. I got a wig. I'm gonna start using too. That's mad funny. It. Yeah, but you're honed into you're honed into your purpose, and you're honed into you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how spiritual you are, but you're definitely in alignment with where you're supposed to be. And I think that's why so many great things are happening for you, because regardless of whatever distractions or whatever the outside world is saying, you're just like, yeah, I feel you, bro. And I get it. And it makes sense, but I'm tapped into my purpose right now. Yeah. And that's the way I've moved too. You know what I mean? Like, sure, I've heard different things and people say different things, but at the end of the day, I know that I'm leading with love. I know that I'm doing everything that I'm doing to try to empower and help people. Am I always right? Or am I always right in how I go about it? No, I'm human, right? But I know that I'm leading with love. I know where my intention is, and I know that I'm living in my truth. So as long as I can go to sleep at night knowing that I'm in alignment with where I'm supposed to be and who I am, I'm good. And I know it's the same for you. You can go to sleep at night knowing I'm being Sean and I'm not trying to be somebody else.
That is so huge. Just the peace that I've gained in the last few years, just as I think I've really found, my calling, and everything is really organic now. I'm not, honestly, when I was starting YouTube, I tried to do some funny stuff, and it's not just that, but I think I've really
figure it out.
Yeah, but I think I've really came into my groove, and man, the peace, and probably my barbers could tell you. I mean, in the midst of coming through all that, I didn't know how to run the shop. I was worried about all this. And it wasn't the same, but like the peace I have now of knowing that, I'm doing right. I try to move right, take care of people. And, I sleep good at night. I always tell my wife that there's that feeling you get when, you did something wrong and maybe the police are going to show up, or your girl found out something, or your homie might find something, that feeling you get when that knot in your stomach, bro. I don't get that ever.
Nah, it don't exist.
Yeah, it don't exist. And man, that's strong. That's strong.
You can't put a price on that, bro. That peace of mind and being at peace with yourself and being in alignment with what you're doing. So, with all that being said, to those of you who are tapped in, man, once you really lock in on who you are and what it is you're trying to do, what it is you're trying to accomplish, lock in and stay there, because you're going to have there's going to be people that are going to tell you should be doing this, you should be doing that, what you're doing, the way you're doing it is wrong, this is the right way to do it. But at the end of the day, man, you're the one walking around in you every day. So you got to be able to know you're okay with the person you are. And you got to know that as long as I go to bed at night, I feel good and I can sleep peacefully. If you are out here doing some cool stuff, it looks great to the public, people are applauding you and all of this, but you don't feel right about it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't feel like this is you. You feel like you're putting up a front. You feel like you're playing this character or something. It's only going to lead to you being depressed and miserable. So just own you. You know what I'm saying? Own you, be you, and go after them things that you're looking to accomplish. And speaking of accomplishing and going after some stuff, you opening a second shop, right?
I am, yeah. So it's early.
Drop the clapping emojis in the chat, bro. A second shop with 13 barbers already is that's a grind right there.
Yeah. So I just came to the realization with the help of some of my guys. Bazio and them down there have 5 or 6 shops. I can't remember if it's 6 now or 7. But yeah, I came to the realization, kind of the same point, right? Like, my goal is to put people on, and I got clients. Not so much anymore because I don't cut that much, but when I had clients all the time, there's so many clients that I'm in their ear talking about, Hey, man, Basio throwing 50 down.
Shout outs to Basio coming in with the bomb. Say, you know what? Hold that 50. Thank you, homie. We appreciate you, bro. Thank you, man.
But like I said, so many of my barbers were clients and friends. And so, I know in the future that I'm going to have more people that I want to say, hey, man, go to school and I'll give you a job. And I filled my shop up. My cousin just started. He's number 13 and we're full. And so Dre actually had talked to me and was like, you realize, like, if you don't open another shop, like, you're done. Like, that's it for the shop. You can't hire nobody. He's like, you're getting bigger on YouTube and in the industry. He's like, you're going to have people willing to move there to work for you. Like, so, and you have the blueprint. You've already done it. My shop's been open 7.5 years, 7-year best barbershop in town awards. You know what I mean? Like, we got it figured out. So we haven't signed the lease yet, but we have a verbal agreement. I got a key all ready to go start putting stuff in there. And so the goal is like 2 months from now, hopefully, to get it open.
Let's go, bro. Congrats, man. And it's funny hearing you say how you've brought people on board. Bro, I got a small shop, right? There's 6 of us total. But everybody in my shop was, put it this way, one of the barbers is my younger cousin. Then 3 of the other barbers I grew up with, right? And then we're clients. And then the same thing with the other 2 barbers. They were clients, right? You know what I mean? Like, so there was that time where as clients, they were looking for, trying to find fulfillment and trying to figure out what they could be doing. And you know who could be a good barber, right? You do it long enough, aside from the skill, because, with me and you and people that are wired like us, we'll teach you the skill.
Yeah.
So
that's my least smallest concern is if you can cut hair or not. I can teach you how to do that.
Right. I can't teach you how to be a good person or have a work ethic or be hungry or care and things like that. Right. So, that's how it worked with me too. I found them at that point in their life where they were ready to try to figure something out. And now we're just, we have this whole family. And I think my situation is such an anomaly. That's why I don't really speak a lot on like shops and stuff like that. As far as like, doing like a barbershop ownership class or something like that, because I just feel like my joint is such an anomaly that, I could have kind of got lucky with that. So that's why I bring on people like, the barber guru and Basio. Yeah. I mean, when they doing, 10, 11 shops and shit like that, it's a whole different ball game. You kind of got it figured out, and
2 got me like, I think I can do this, but hey, I'll tell you what though, I've already said if 2 works and a year from now is smooth, then I know I got it figured out.
Yeah. Right? So it's like opening. Do you see yourself owning like a bunch of shops or
not a bunch, but I have 2 cities that are like an hour north, an hour south, basically, that are very similar. Bunch of old school shops, like the young people don't want to work in those shops. And so I know that something like this would work there. And there's barber schools in both areas that I have barbers that came from. So we have relationships with those schools already. Some of my guys are from those areas. So there's just potential to, one of my guys is driving over from Evansville, which is north from me right now. So like maybe one day we open one up there. He ends up there, like that kind of thing. So I'm not necessarily planning on it. There's definitely probably not room for another one here.
Yeah.
But there's potential to do one. I had somebody comment when they saw my picture of my new shop and said, like, when you're going to do Bowling Green, like Clutch Bowling Green, which is where I went to barber school. Hey, we might do it. I don't know. We'll see.
That's dope, bro. What would you say to somebody, because, we got some people on here that want to open shops one day. Let us know in the chat if you see yourself owning a shop one day. Let us know. What would you say were some of the misconceptions you might have had when first opening a barbershop, or things that now that you didn't know back then that you can share that will, give some insight to the people that want to open a shop one day to set them off on the right path?
I think the difficulty that I didn't expect is obviously dealing, like you said, I got 13 personalities, 13 people that some of them don't like to get up in the morning. Some of them don't like to work late. Some of, everybody's different. And I don't think I really thought through that much that as it was growing, that it was going to be a little difficult to balance and try to keep everybody happy. And that's something, honestly, I did too much of. changing things and working with everybody to the point where it got really lax and almost anything goes. And I can say now that kind of through some, maturity and more responsibility and just a different mindset these days that we've kind of brought it back together. But I think it's more difficult than you think if you really want to manage the shop. You're in a similar situation where you got some family, some friends. So you hope that they all got your back and they want to work hard for you and show up, but sometimes it's not like that. And then that makes it more difficult.
Yeah. Shop ownership isn't for everybody.
No.
You know what I mean? It's definitely not. And luckily we're in a time where you don't have to own a shop, right? And that's one of the things that kind of discourages me. I don't even know if discourage is the word, but I don't know what it makes me feel. But when I'm at a school, teaching at a school or speaking to beginner barbers, I say, how many of you guys want to own a shop one day? And everybody's hand goes up. You've seen it, right? Yeah. And the truth is, there's a very minimal amount of those people who are actually going to even open a shop. And then aside from just opening a shop, it's going to be successful because it's not as easy as we think it is. And it could be challenging. It could be so rewarding. I love owning a shop, right? I'm wired in a certain way where it works for me just the same way you are, but it's not for everybody, especially nowadays when there's all these other outlets, YouTube, right? Content creation suites, there's a lot of different options. What would you say to people to know, right? Like if somebody's thinking, is shop ownership for me or not? How does one know, in your opinion, if shop ownership is for them, aside from just trying it and figuring it out, whether it's for them or not?
So I think what eventually drove me to do it was that I was being restricted and limited where I was at.
Yeah.
And so kind of what you're touching on is I think today there's more opportunity. When I opened my shop, I said the one thing I'm never going to do is limit my people to where they feel like they have to leave to be able to operate how they want to operate. So again, that's a difficult line to flirt with. But I did it for that reason. And I can say, I think the most important thing is to realize why you want to do it.
Yeah.
But I did it because for me to grow, quickly I was at the point where I was staying late every day, walk-in only shop, couldn't do appointments, couldn't raise my prices. Like I was drowning, dude. I was tired.
Yeah.
And so I knew I wanted to do all that. And then you fast forward, now I've been able to expand, bigger location, build a studio. I can operate. I do YouTube. I can operate how I want to operate. So for me, that's what it was. And I don't know what the telltale would be of if it's for you or not. But I think some of us just have those leadership qualities. I think something that's a strength for me, and I'm sure for you, is being able to figure stuff out and roll with the punches, and because that's what it's going to be. I'm in here mounting the TV earlier. A lot of that stuff. Realistically, if you want to, my first shop, dude, I tore the walls out, put up a ceiling grid. I'd never done that before in my life. Painted the walls, put the floor down. Like I did it all myself. And so I think if you're not that handy, if you're not that, you don't feel like you're a leader. I always felt like a leader. I was a trainer. I was a manager. I had some management skills. So I think those things are important. And obviously, the less of that you have, I think, the more difficult it will be, because if you're not a leader and you hire some barbers that are, they're gonna walk all over you.
Yeah.
Or if you can't do anything yourself, then how are you gonna build the shop? It's gonna cost you triple the price. What about when stuff breaks? Are you gonna be able to fix it? I think there's just a certain type of people that are good at figuring things out. They're confident and have those leadership qualities, and I think those are important. So I wouldn't say you can't do it without any of that, but I think those are some things that can really like if that's you, then I think you can make it happen. If that's not you, I think you got some difficult roads ahead of you to make it happen.
Bro, I love that insight. Very, very helpful insight. And to add to it, one thing I feel like I want to start pushing a little bit more, at least on my platform, is that it is okay to not be the boss, bro. Like we live in a time where it's just, hustle, 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 entrepreneurship, be your own boss. All of that thinking is so dominant. And of course, it in certain contexts, it is a great mindset to have, but it's not for everybody. And there's so many people that would be a lot happier in life working at Clutch Barbershop, right? As opposed to trying to build their own Clutch Barbershop, right? So it's not that I want to push the narrative of killing dreams, but what I do want to push is the narrative that it's okay. It's okay to be a good employee. That's okay. It's not a negative thing, right? And it's okay to also know that you're not a leader, bro, because not everybody is, and it's one of those things too, where if I remember Kevin Durant came out years ago and was saying something along those lines, like he's not a leader, right? And he'd rather be just like a number 2 on a team. And bro, he caught so much flack. Like he's not, we knew he wasn't built like that. And it's like, I understand that perspective, but at the same time, he knows his role. He knows his place in this ecosystem. And he got to the point where he just is going to own it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, I'm not a leader. So for those of you tapped in, just understand that, man. There are people who are in the industry that have been cutting hair for 10, 12, 13 years working at a shop. And there's a lot of barbers that will look at them like you're a failure. How come you don't own your own? And this, that, and the third. It's just like, maybe they are happy. Maybe they're making good money, doing the right things with their money. And maybe they're just happy. Maybe they have peace of mind. Maybe they have a great family life. They have their quality of life. It may be a lot higher in that particular situation as opposed to them venturing out and trying to open their own thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like JT said, every Jordan needs a Pippen.
That's my Pippen. He's going to be managing my second shop.
JT Faded?
Yeah.
Shout outs to JT Faded, ready to level up. Dope. Speaking of other things you could be doing in this industry, YouTube, right? Let's talk a little bit about some YouTube, man. How do you feel YouTube's impacted the barbering industry? What are some of the positives you see and some of the negatives, if you see any, when it comes to YouTube on the barber industry?
I think positive, obviously, there's, like you said, there's so much knowledge out there. It's so easy to find a few different opinions on a tool if you're interested in a tool. I'm about to document this whole second shop. Talk about giving gems. I'm documenting the whole thing, showing every process, all the prices, all of it, so that people that want to do it can follow it. So, I don't think that really exists right now. Like just basically the bare essentials of, like, here's how you find a building. You call these type of people. We're going to go look at one today. I'm going to show you. I'll take you there for the first time. It'll be dropping soon. So I'm going through that whole process. We just did the signage. I recorded the whole meeting about the signage.
Make sure y'all subscribe, bro. Subscribe to that channel.
It's coming out soon.
Yes.
But so I think you can find, and this goes beyond barbering, you can find anything you need to know on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I think that's the beauty. I think, for barber, like I got how to zero gap your clippers. I mean, if you're a new barber and you need to figure something out, you get on YouTube, you can find it. So I think that's the beauty. I don't know about negatives. I think we jokingly talked about this, but I think a lot of people have maybe not even have strong opinions. Excuse me. But we talked about how your content is targeted for your audience.
Right.
And so I think for some people coming up, it's easy to get confused because Marv says, don't take pictures of your haircuts. It doesn't matter. Get regular people. That's all you need. And then Sean says, if you want to do this, you got to take pictures and make video. So there's a lot of, it's not even opinions, because we talked about this. We really still do the same things. But if you're talking about a new barber that needs to gain clientele, yeah, show up to work, do a good job, give out business cards, be there. That's how you can grow. So I think it can be misconstrued if you watch somebody else's video and maybe you watch another guy that's sponsored by a clipper brand talk about a clipper versus somebody that does all. It's just easy to be misled, I think, if you don't get a broad perspective on some of those things. And a lot of the times I teach, I never give a definite. I say, look, this is how I feel. You may think different. That's cool. But this is, you know what I mean? I don't ever want somebody to, man, I feel bad if somebody messages me like, yo, you said
Yeah.
I just watched doing that because I think there's a lot of stuff out there that people get caught up on, and so I just want to be loose with that and not ever steer anybody the wrong way, but just put stuff out there and say, hey, do with this what you want to do. This is how I feel, or this is how I do it. And I think if you use it right, it's like anything, right? If you use it right, it can be to your benefit, and if you don't, then there could be some negatives to that.
Yeah, and I love all of that insight as well, man. And I think if I can, because obviously we know a lot of the positives, right? Like barbers are getting so good so fast. We can learn about the different tools and products that come out so quick, and make judgments and try to get a good idea if this is going to be a good buy or not. And there's just so much information on YouTube. Even like you said, aside from barbering, that is helpful. If I'm going to try to pull a negative, one of the ones that stands out the most to me is just the fact that there is so much information. And it kind of goes along the lines of what you're saying, to where you could start to get confused because one person's saying this clipper's the best. The other person's saying this one. One person's saying this is how you should open a barbershop. The other person's saying this is how you should do it. One person's saying this is, you should fade up. The other person's saying you should fade down. One person's, so it can be confusing. So what I always say to people, man, my best advice, is to you try to broaden your perspective as much as possible to see what type of content or creator or information on YouTube that resonates with you, makes sense to you, and you find helpful, right? You got to kind of see what's out there. But then once you come across some people, man, rock with those people, bro. Because I do believe there is the idea that we can have too many mentors, and it can be very, very conflicting and just lead you to be confused. So when I say that, what I mean is, you come across Sean Cuts Hair and he's just giving you all of this game, and you feel like you understand his communication style and everything that he's sharing with you is helping in some way. Just there you go. There's your rock with Sean. He's not leading you astray, right? I always tell new barbers, man, when they come in and they're asking like, where should I go? I'm like, Basio, 245, getting the 6-figure barber mentorship. Bro, realistically, if I'm being honest, that's all you need. If you just, whatever their education is, whatever they're doing, that's all you need. But you want more? Of course, I'm going to tell you, join Marvy Mar social media marketing course and content creation course, because I know the value I bring. And then you got Barber Josh OP's Academy. Sign up for that. Ivan Zoot, he does some stuff with the 100K haircut Academy. Sign up for that. Aside from that, sure, we can make a whole list of other people that bring value to the table, but you don't need more than that, man. You're going to learn everything you need to learn to be a successful barber industry. So, I mean, with all that being said, my main point is find who you vibe with when you're coming across content on YouTube, and stick with those people, because if you try to connect with too many or learn from too many, you're just going to find yourself confused as hell. And I'm sure you've probably been through that. I know I've been through that, when it, not just barbering, because I don't consume a lot of barbering content anymore, but if we're talking about marketing or content creation or financial stuff or investing or whatever I might be looking up, there's so much conflicting info. It's kind of like, damn, I don't,
I'm worse off than when I started.
Right. Because
now I really have no clue what's right. Yeah.
Right. Because it just leads to paralysis by analysis. And, when you're looking to follow somebody too, another piece of advice is just to make sure they're credible on the thing that they're, trying to teach you too. You know what I'm saying? Because people could be good with words, be great communicators, make cool content. But then when you do that fact check and that background check, they're not really bringing much to the table. And, somebody like Basio 245 and everything that, you guys have done, I mean, the resume speaks for itself, guys. It's the same thing when I had Joe from City Image and he does his barber shop ownership class. It's like, bro, he owns 11 shops. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna, the proof is in the pudding. So make sure you're doing that background check when you're coming across people too. You know what I mean? To make sure that the people that you're following have the credibility to speak on what they're speaking on. Barbers. So again, let me just do some little chores real quick. Follow Sean Cuts Hair on all social media platforms. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And again, guys, ask questions. I'm putting them in a folder so that way me and Sean can make sure we touch on them at some point during the conversation. And if you haven't done so already, take a picture or screenshot of this, so that way after the live or at whatever point you feel like posting to your story to let the people know that we're, there's value being dropped on Gem Talk. You can do that. Building on YouTube, man. We got a lot of people on here that I'm sure want to build on YouTube, man. What were some of the misconceptions you had early on when it came to YouTube that, maybe you could share that will help people from making some of the same mistakes you made early on?
Yeah. So there's a few points I always make to people. One, like if you want to do it, like just start. If we're being totally honest, like I think I saw a stat that says, like realistically you don't even have a chance. I need to close those comments. There's some funny stuff over there.
Yo, some people do. Yo, that's for real, because sometimes it gets the distraction goes over your thought.
But too many people get caught up on wanting to start
yo.
the Avengers. I love it. You're waiting to start because you want to have a better camera, because you see that I use that camera or whatever it is. Just start. To be honest, your first 50 videos, ain't nobody watching anyways.
Yeah.
Like it takes probably 50 videos, depending. Of course, there's rare people that have some super catchy content, but realistically, like the way YouTube's set up, it has to get X amount of views going in the first amount of time or whatever. So when you have 2 subscribers, you're not going to get views, period. So just put content out. Like look at your first 6 months of, like, I'm just putting some crap out. Like, it don't matter if it's good. I don't care if you edit it. Just post it and just get it out. And, you can, I think you probably operate this way with your content, but just be constantly looking at how you can improve. It doesn't have to be all at once, but if you do a couple videos and you're editing them yourself, you'll notice some things you can do better. Like, oh, the camera was out of focus a little bit. I'm going to try to focus on that. Then when you master that, you know what? I could use a better mic because the MacBook mic is trash. And then what I did was when I made enough 1 month on a YouTube check that I could buy a camera, then I bought a camera. So it was paying for it. And so I just kind of rode that way. So I think that's something huge. I think everybody's waiting. Everybody's waiting. And I'll tell you what, when I started, I had already been around Bosio and Beam and some of those guys, and I saw the growth that they had. And I went 2 years without starting. And I can't tell you what I was waiting for. I just didn't ever do it. And now that I've done it for 4 years and I see how it works, I can tell you that I'd be probably 250,000 subscribers if I had started those 2 years earlier. So you just got to start. You just got to put it out. I think a big misconception is that there's already so many people. Why would I make content? Here I come up under Bosio and Beam, and they're the homies, and I'm thinking like they're already crushing it on YouTube. So like honestly, that's probably why I didn't start. Like, who's gonna watch me?
Yeah.
But again, like people are gonna connect with me more than them,
right?
For whatever reason. Doesn't mean they're bad. People connect with them more. You might make a tutorial and people say, man, I really learned from Marv better than Sean. Like,
bro, yeah, there's people that hate me, love you, right? And then there's gonna be people that think your content's boring and need Marv to do all the theatrics.
Yeah, and that's fine, right? Like that's acceptable. So I think don't wait. Don't think that you don't have some value, and it may take you a while to get into your groove and find where your value is. But I even tell people, some people will be like, well, I'm in barber school. Dude, you know how many barber students watch YouTube and would love to know that you didn't learn nothing in barber school today too. You know what I mean? Like document your journey, like where you're at, somebody else is at, or they're thinking about starting and you're closer to barber school than I am. So they're going to love your channel. So like whoever you are, wherever you're at, whatever it is that you're doing, just start making content, and naturally, like the people that are going to mess with you will end up finding you. I think Gary Vee's the one I saw this with, but Gary Vee said something about, you just have to keep doing it long enough. Like your people are out there. You just have to keep doing it long enough for them to find you. And my last little gem I'll give you, this is a
you're gonna give a lot more gems, but the last gem
well,
of this
for YouTube for this comment,
yeah.
this is a Mr. Beast statement. I did some like real in-depth watching everything I could find about Mr. Beast and how he like cracked the code right on YouTube. Like he's the master. At the end of the day, good content will do good. Bad content will not do good. It doesn't matter what camera it is. It doesn't matter. Like, yes, I saw somebody say thumbnail. Like, yes, the thumbnails and all that helps because if people don't click it, then it don't get watched. But at the end of the day, like the best thing you can do for YouTube is people watch most of your video. So if it's good and people watch it, it will perform well. If it's bad, it's going to fall off. So like that's really as simple as it gets.
Yeah, I love that. And it is crazy because, you know, I do the social media course and I work with people a lot when it comes to content and social media. And it is wild how so many of us, myself included, more previously than now, but even now you fall into the trap sometimes. But you think like, well, my content isn't doing that great because I'm not posting at the right time, or I need to post at a different day, or I got to use different hashtags. And that stuff does have its place for sure. But at the end of the day, bro, good content is going to be good content, whether you post it at 10 a.m. today or 10 p.m. tonight, right? Whether you post it on Sunday, whether you post it on Wednesday. Sure, as you go through and you start to really study your analytics and stuff, yeah, you fine tune and you do what you need to do to feel like you're giving your content the best chance to succeed. But if you're making good content, man, people are going to watch your content. Is not, we be thinking we're shadow banned and all types of wildness. It's just like, bro,
I see that comment all the time. I don't even know what that means. Like,
yeah,
I guess it means they're holding you back from getting views or something. I don't know.
Bro, you know what's crazy though is time reveals the truth, right? Like content you'll put out today and it won't maybe hit, and you start thinking like, man, I must be shadow banned, or I posted at the wrong time, I ain't used the right hashtags, and it did. That's why I didn't do good. Go back a year from now and watch that. Watch it a year from now and look at it. You're gonna look at it and be like, that wasn't yo, right? Like it wasn't that good. Like how many of your videos when you first posted them you thought were this is it? And now you watch it and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, bad. And you know, you learn a bunch of things. That's a lot more in-depth YouTube stuff I could tell you about. But like one thing I used to do was I love like the cinematic, the music with the transitions and the like tutorials, unboxings. Like I used to have that in every video. Dude, people click out as soon as it would come on. Like I came for the clipper and we're 2 minutes in and I still haven't seen the clipper.
Yeah.
So you just learn those things. Like if it's good and it's what people want to see, give them what they want to see. That's all it is.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, to piggyback off of that, I feel like when it comes to strategy, that's a strategy that it has changed over time, right? Because there was a time on YouTube where it's like that kind of drag you along thing, right? To keep you on, so you keep watching. It's like you drag people on, but because we're so over that and sick of that, it's like, bro, get right to the point. So when you're a creator now, if you can get right to the point, like, so you don't got to sit there and see this long intro, hear all of this jive before you're learning about the clipper, you know, people are going to be a lot more likely to stick around for that. Whereas when you're doing that drag along stuff that was once a better strategy than it is today, you know, I'm sure you've done it numerous times. I do it all the time. People are just they're going to be skipping. They're skipping, like trying to find out, you know, how do we get to where you start actually taking the clipper out and showing me the damn thing? Where I look at some of my older stuff, and that's one thing where I struggle with a lot. I'm consciously working to be better, is getting to the point quicker. But like I look at some of my old stuff, and it's just like, damn, I dragged that. And part of it was strategy, but then part of it is just like just dragging it. And I could see why this video didn't perform well. I didn't get to the point to 8 minutes in.
Yeah, and that's, you know, back to that point. It's like the mindset is like, oh, if I do a 20-minute video and I got to make them wait till the end to see what it is that I'm doing, then I can put 8 ads in there and I can make all this money. And then it gets 1,000 views. Where if you got to the point in 4 minutes, it might have done 1 million views. Well, that's way more rewarding than 1,000 views. Yeah. And so it's just looking at it wrong, you know, and that's part of figuring it out. You know, I've battled with what the ideal time is. You know, I'm still playing with those type of things, and you just adjust and you throw something out and you see how it goes. And because the retention time is the best. I would imagine it's the same. I don't know a ton about Instagram or TikTok, but I know like my best reel ever was 8 seconds long, and people would watch it 3 times. Instagram put it out like crazy.
Yeah,
right.
I tell you what, TikTok is paying really good for the creativity program right now. It's paying better than Instagram. You know, Instagram don't pay you nothing. I was just showing somebody the other day. I have a video with 1.5 million views. I got videos with more than that on Instagram, but I was showing the one specifically 1.5 million views. It made $20, bro.
Yeah.
You know, you got people out here that are they're hoping to get that viral video because they're like, yeah, it's gonna crush. You're gonna make like $20. Whereas that same video, you know, on TikTok, it might make you $1,000, $1,500 in comparison, right? And YouTube's a little better than Instagram. Well, a lot better, I'd say, when it comes to the shorter form content, but it's still not as good as TikTok. But it is interesting because like some of the stuff you guys will learn as you go in content is how like none of it makes sense until you like go through it. And what I mean when I say is this, I'll show you guys real quick. 2 things. I screenshot it real quick. I did a like Clipper review video a couple years ago, probably 2 years ago now. Let me see where it is right here. I blurred some stuff out, but I basically tell you what it says. But so this video right here was a Clipper review video, right? And as you guys see, it got 25,000 views, so almost 26,000 views. It made some money. The total watch time was 1.2K hours on it, right? Then I have this video right here where, why'd I do that? I mean to end that. Then I have this video right here, right? Where you look at this. Now, this one has 2.4K views, right? But it has the same amount of watch time, the same 1.2K watch hours, right? So this one has way more views, but it's the same watch time. This one only has, you know, 2.4K views, the same 10%, watch time.
10%, yeah, but the same watch time.
Right? So, you know, when on the outside looking in, you look and you see one video has 26,000 views. The other one has 2,000 views. The one did way better, but these actually have the same amount of watch time. And if we're talking estimated revenue, I made more money on the one that has less views. I made more money in ad revenue on the one that has 2,000 views versus the one that has 26,000 views, right? Whereas, you know, when you don't do this at all, or you're not in this world, you would sit there and you would assume clearly if we're trying to make money, the one with the 26,000 views is making a lot more, but it doesn't necessarily work that way.
I'd have to go search to find you the screenshot, but well, I don't have a screenshot, but I can pull it up. But my best YouTube videos are like 1.6 million.
Yeah.
But it's the same situation. People click out of it quick. And it's made me like $1,500 maybe in 2.5 years. And I have videos, you know, recently with 250,000 views that people are watching the whole thing, and they've made me $4,000. You know, so it doesn't always equate just views because it's really more about that time watched.
Right, that retention, that watch time.
Views are what looks good, right? Like when we're scrolling, I'm like, dang, Marv got 100,000 views on this video, but you're over there like, man, they're not watching the whole thing. I'm not getting paid, you know? So.
Yeah. It's tricky, man. Are you on TikTok or no?
I have one, but I didn't have much luck. I had some videos on Reels that went crazy.
Yeah.
And I gained like 30K followers in a month off of one reel. And I posted on TikTok and it didn't do anything.
It's
and I
crazy.
I just kind of threw TikTok to the side. So you know how it is, dude. It's hard enough for me to keep up with YouTube by itself, and then to make short form. And most of the stuff I record for YouTube is so widescreen and popped in tight that it's hard for me to cross. Like I can't use it for Instagram or TikTok, so I have to make my own content for that. And sometimes I'll go a month without posting a reel, or so TikTok just kind of fell to the wayside, and I just haven't really spent any time. Maybe I need to, from what you're saying, maybe I need to.
We can talk, bro. If you could, because we're in a time where, and this is across YouTube too, right? In a similar sense, but like the content is is what matters the most. So much more in a lot of ways than the actual followers or subscribers. Sure, they matter too when it comes to different brand stuff and things like that. But as far as the platform paying, you know, I if you can get monetized on TikTok, which requires you to get to 10K, you got to have a certain amount of views in the last 30 days. But at that point, you're now eligible to make the same amount of money as the person that's got 1 million, followers over there. If you can get your content viewed, the views are what matter over there, and the retention, the watch time. But they're roughly paying, as a guesstimate, is like it's a $1 RPM, so $1 per every 1,000 views, right over there. So 100,000 views, that's $100. A million views is $1,000. So that's roughly what they're paying over there. So if you can figure out a way to get to 10K quick, get in that program and start acting up, it might be a nice little additional revenue stream.
I'm sure I could. I just have to,
YouTube's a lot, bro. Yeah. It's time consuming. And that's another thing I forgot to point out with those 2 videos and where I've struggled with YouTube going back and forth because I'm always looking at it from, there's like the 3 eyes, I like to say. The 3 eyes when it comes to me making content is the first thing I'm trying to figure out is what type of impact I'm trying to make. The second eye is what type of investment am I trying to make? And more specifically, that's the time invested. And then the third eye is what type of income is this going to generate, right? So when I look at YouTube, you could vouch for this. When you're making some of these videos, they could take hours and days and just so much time to edit, right? So even that video that I showed you where I did the 26,000, that video took me a while to make, a couple days to get it right how I wanted it before I posted it, right? Yeah. Whereas the other video was just one of these gem talks where, I go live 2-3 hours and I'm at the point, at least in my journey on YouTube right now, where I post it up. So the time spent, the time invested is 2-3 hours. It's up. I put some ads in it, whatever, make sure it's right, get it to go. So, when creating content, it can get tricky because it's discouraging when you invest so many of those hours and so much of that time, and then you feel like the impact is not being made in the way you want it to, and you ain't making the money you want to make, and then it's easy to get discouraged. So for me, I'm always just thinking like, okay, how can I make that impact, invest the least amount of time and get the highest return on investment for it? And that's kind of what has led me, at least currently, to this path of the gem talks, because for me, it works. It's more optimal for me than spending, the days to create the content, where somebody else, they ain't trying to do these gem talks. Like you, for example, right? You're doing these awesome unboxings, clipper reviews, and things like that. That's more suitable for you and works for your strategy.
Yeah, I think what's funny with, at least from my experience, and I think kind of what you're saying is a lot of the time that we put all that extra effort in and whatever, it's kind of for us. And yeah, I feel like a lot of the time it doesn't. I'll say this: it at least will just do normal.
Yeah,
like it's not usually much better than, like, if you do a gym talk, you're already doing it. You're not doing it for a YouTube video.
Yeah,
but you can easily export it, throw it in as a YouTube video, and put it up. But if you wanted to make an hour-long thing that you planned out and you had questions written and we recorded it, we edited off fancy and did all this, it wouldn't do any better.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's never the case.
Yeah.
But like, I think what you're saying, and I agree, is sometimes the simple, that's why I say just start, right? Because you holding the phone, Casey Neistat's a huge example. Dude, his content is raw. He's holding the phone. It's shaky, and he puts it out, and he's huge. So at the end of the day, if the message you're bringing and the content will do its job, if it's good content, like, that's all it comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I will say to you guys who are tapped in, who may be wanting to go down the educational side of things on YouTube, right? Because there's a couple routes you can go. You can go the relatable content, you can go to funny content, entertaining, and you can go educational, right? A lot of you guys think, like Sean was saying, I'm in barber school. Like, I can't really teach people nothing. It's my first year. I can't really teach people nothing. And the truth is this, and I learned this a little while back. You ultimately just have to be a chapter ahead of the person you're trying to teach. So if you look at it as a book, right, if you're on chapter 2 in the book, you can teach somebody who's still on chapter 1 a lot. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be a little bit ahead of the person that you're looking to teach. And it goes back to, like you were talking about earlier, a little bit of knowing your audience. It's just, know, okay, who am I trying to create content for? And if you want to go down the educational the lane, hey, wherever you're at, try to look this step before you, a couple steps behind you, and ask yourself, what would they need to learn? How can I help them? What ways could I provide value to them? And then start creating content around that. And next thing you know, you're going to be the barber school barber, like Sean was saying, documenting your journey, showing, relating with them, teaching them a bunch of stuff. And you had this whole tribe of people who are thinking about going to barber school or in barber school, just like you are. And then even people who are ahead of you that just connect with you. You know what I'm saying? So just, you don't have to be the 10-year OG, the 15-year OG. You don't have to be that person to start. Like Sean said, just start, bro. Barbers, just start. Question though, when it comes to filming and editing and all of that, you've done a lot of that yourself, right? I seen you hired an editor. Do you still just have the editor do it, or you do a lot yourself still?
Yeah, so I edited all the way up until like 8 months ago, I think, 6 months ago. And it was really just an attempt to see if taking that off my plate could free up time. Like originally I edited at night. Like right now, my wife's about to put my son down and go to bed. So I would go downstairs and edit. So I didn't feel like I would, like, one of their selling points was like, oh, think about the time that you'll gain. And I was like,
but then it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do instead?
So that wasn't the selling point, but the selling point that they got me on was, all right, well, let me ask you this. How much effort do you put into coming up with content? I said, 0.
Yeah.
If the new Babyliss clipper comes in, I unbox it.
Right.
If Marv comes in and he hasn't had a haircut in a while, I record his haircut. Like, I'm just going off of what's popping up. And so they said, well, think about this. If all you have to do is record it, put it in Dropbox and be done with it, all your extra time can be literally, like, even if you're watching a movie and like something pops in your head, throw a note in your phone, I'm going to do this video. Or you're having a conversation and something pops up. Now your job can be coming up with content, and all you have to do is record it and put it out. So I'll be honest, like the not having to edit has been super nice. But as you can imagine, getting somebody else to portray what you want to portray, like the video you just played, I did that myself.
Yeah.
Because so I did the first cut and then gave it to him, and I said the beginning is like that part that you showed was the intro. I was like, it's pretty much how I want. So unless you see something that you think you can just like really make better, pretty much leave that alone. And then they did the unboxing portion. So honestly, I'll just give you a little bit of details on it. I had an editor. I had 3 videos in a row that did amazing. And it was like a how to like basic fade steps video, and then a detailing a fade video. And then I did like a 3-finger technique, which shows me how much space I need to fade. All 3 of those were amazing. They were highlighting the area. Like I'd say, I'm going to go up a 1/2 inch, and they would highlight the area. And then they put arrows, and it was crazy. Well, that editor quit.
Oh.
So when I started the editors, they had no idea. They didn't know what a 1-guard was. I could write to them like, hey, when I get done with the taper, change the song. They don't know what that means.
Right.
So I had 6 months of this guy learning my stuff. We did 3 of the best videos I've put out maybe ever. Like collectively, those 3 together were all hitters. They're all 100K plus, I think. And they're not that old. They're a couple months old. So for me, that's really good. And he quit. So I'll be honest, I've been in like a 2-month spree where it's been rough.
Damn, bro.
Like, yeah, they're sending me stuff that's bad. They're writing like #1 open guard, like just it's way off. And so I actually had a call with my manager, like my account manager, who is over the editors. And I was like, look, man, I'm gonna be honest, like it's to the point now, like the color correction wasn't right. Like if they take a shot of my station and it's crooked, they're not leveling it out. Like these are the basics.
Yeah.
And I told him, like, if it stays like this, when the contract's up, I'm out. Like I'd rather do it myself. So I'm still kind of dealing with that. I did have an excellent call with him. I gave him, boy, I wore him out. I didn't wear him out like rude, but he was note taking. I'm like, this needs to be done. This needs to be better. Do this. Stop using lime green. I hate lime green. It needs to be tomb green or make it something else. I mean, I wore my dude out. But we're gonna give it. I think I got 3 more months to see if it improves, and then I'll make that decision then. But definitely the time saving is very nice.
Bro, talk about a roller coaster of emotions. You had your video editor. You like, yes, like these are fire. They're hitting, and then they left, bro. That probably was a very depressing time.
Yeah, well, and like so I'll just tell you, like I'm all transparent, So I pay him $2,000 a month, brother. That's almost half of my YouTube income.
Yeah.
So the goal obviously was, for me to be able to create better content because I can come up with ideas, and they take that off my plate, and they would free up time for other stuff. I get 3 videos a week in the contract, unlimited revisions. It all looked good. And so when the editors changed, all of a sudden, dude, I'm barely getting 1 video a week because they're so far off.
Yeah.
And so I'm like panicking. I just told you I've never missed a video.
Yeah.
And we're like a couple times. Like, I'm like, this ain't going to get done. I'm like accepting it as is, going on my computer and doing what I can to make it decent and put it out. And so, yeah, it was not, I hate that honestly, if I wasn't in a contract, if it was month to month, I would have stopped. So I'll be honest, I'm like hopeful now that we're going to get it. We're going to turn it around because I do enjoy not having to edit. But we'll see. We'll see when the time's up.
Yeah, you're going to turn it around, bro. This is one of them things that's going to work out. It's another part of the journey, and only going to make for better content for your channel. And it's going to help give you wisdom and insight to help the next person when it comes to them bumping into some of these challenges and giving them the heads up. Because, I mean, think about it, right? Like, that thought may have crossed your mind, but there's a lot of people who wouldn't even think like, okay, what if my editor quits? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if I get in a contract and then an editor quits? So now you have that insight to be able to pass on to the next person so that they can have that in mind to where if they do enter a contract, it's like, all right, well, if the editor quits, contract void, whatever, you know what I mean? It's definitely super helpful. Where did you go for the editor? Was it through like somebody else on YouTube or a freelance site or something?
No, yeah. So, you guys know, like the stuff that you're looking at, Facebook starts sending the ads, and then they're on Instagram, and then they're on YouTube.
They be following us everywhere,
bro. Crazy. It's like the barbershop effect. We'll talk about something. I'll get off here and turn my phone up, and it'll have the freaking ad for it, So basically that's what happened. I had saw a certain editing, I guess Facebook knows I do YouTube. So it was an ad for an editing platform. It's called Editing Machine. And I had seen it before. And it's just one of those things where a certain night was just the right time that I saw it again. And I thought, I'm not doing anything. I clicked it. I started reading it. And again, it said, like, are you wasting hours that you could be doing something better? And I was like, no, not me. And then the last one was like, something about giving you time to create, to be more creative and whatnot. And it said, like, schedule a free call. So I thought, hey, what the heck? I'll schedule a free call. Me and the guy that I did the call with just super clicked. I'm pretty knowledgeable. I like to understand things. So he's like, dude, this call was 3 times my normal call, but I don't mind it. I feel like it was a good call. It was a really good deal. And so I kind of decided to just go for it. I had a free month, or not a free month. I had a month at the price without a contract to test it out. And it was good. So I stuck with it. But yeah, to be honest, like you said, if I knew that there was potential that obviously, I guess I should know that somebody could quit, but I didn't even think about.
Don't think that though. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's like, what? Because I know you probably beat yourself up, right? It's like, why didn't I think about that? It just, it's not a normal thought we think,
Yeah. So I mean, I wish that was in a clause somewhere that, like, if he quits, I have the option of like letting somebody new start. Because you got to think about it. Like, they have no idea how I like my content to be. Like, what fonts I like. You know how it is. Like, we use similar music, or the fonts that we use, or the colors that we use, or the transition. I mean, there's so much to it. And so to start over was rough, you know. So I do wish that something like you said, now somebody else maybe will ask that question. So I got to learn the hard way, but yeah, I just went with it. And after the first month, it was sick, and I was definitely loving not having to edit. And they were doing some really cool stuff. So I mean, you know, barbering, you know, content. When I vlog, they can make those super cool because they can do silly stuff and they can put
like the
you know,
meme stuff in it.
yeah,
And
meme
sounds.
stuff. Like they can pull B-roll from some other stuff. The unboxings, I think, is their next best thing because they can like put a bunch of words on the screen. They go to the website and show all the different pictures of different. Like if I say it has this blade, they'll go pull the blade up and put it up. I'm backwards on the camera. They'll put the blade over here next to me. So unboxings are cool. Tutorials, you know, a head on a screen for 15 minutes. That's been the battle of how can we make these better. And so it's good. I think we're still working on it. So if I'll tell you this, if at a year in I feel like we figured it out and we're rolling smooth, then I'll ask the question of, all right, I'm sticking in, but if the editor quits again, you got to let me out.
Yo, facts. So, you got that guidance for next time. And
yeah,
all of y'all tapped in. I hope you were paying attention. Let me know if y'all are still rocking with me, man. I know a lot of the comments ain't coming in crazy. I always assume it's because y'all are absorbing the content and paying attention. So drop some gems if you're still rocking with me and rocking with Sean. Again, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button. Follow Sean Cuts Hair on all social media platforms, especially YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and ask questions. I'm putting them in the folder so I can make sure that we get to them at some point, and I see some of the gems coming in. Dope. So I'm assuming most of the people on here aren't at the point where they need to hire an editor. Or let me ask you, at what point do you feel like somebody who's building a YouTube channel should start thinking about hiring an editor? Is this something you would get to right away if you had the funds, or is this something you wait for?
You know, I think similar to like, I didn't buy a nice camera until YouTube was providing that income for me, right? Because it didn't make sense. Like if I came in and cut hair all week and spent all that money on my camera, then and YouTube wasn't paying me, then I'm out $600.
Yeah.
So it was kind of that for me. You know, I was like, again, I don't mind to be transparent. You know, I was flirting with the 5,000 a month range on YouTube, which was that's pretty solid. You know, that's a full income. I had stopped cutting hair as much. And I think I was at the point, you know, you'll hit these different tiers. It's the same as barbering when you need to raise your prices, when you need to, you know, change something. I think I was at one of those points where like my content, I was bored with my content.
Yeah.
It was just, I needed some change. I was making enough money to try something. Again, you know, I have like Basio as an example who had hired an editor and it freed up time for him while he was traveling and doing all this other stuff. So for me, it was I could afford it better now. I needed something different. I was hoping that they were going to come in and just, you know, really liven it up, which I think they did. I think they've done some significant things. And it freed up my time. You know, I have 2 kids now, so I'm traveling, you know, in the busy part of the year every other weekend. I'm still in the shop. And like the last thing I want to do is be sitting at home editing if I can be, you know, hanging with the family or taking care of whatever else. So again, I think if it fits, if it makes sense to you, if you can afford it, but if you can't, you know, that's part of the grind, man. You gotta just be up there editing your own. That's part of it.
That's a fact, bro. And I get conflicted, man, because truthfully, for the most part, I truly enjoy editing. Like I do, right? So So like taking that away from me, it's like, okay, well, what am I gonna do now? I don't know, the artist in me just truly enjoys it. It reminds me of back when I used to do music because I did music. So I'm making
like a producer.
Right. It's just in us, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like I love that. So, you know, I get conflicted sometimes. It's like, should I hire somebody or should I not? I mean, I use some of the AI programs now, which I think are dope. And that's just more for quantity based. More quantity than quality, I would say, because it's just like I'm gonna take this gem talk, I'm gonna put it in opus.ai or something. It's gonna chop it up. There's gonna be some typos in the captions and shit. I ain't gonna fix that. I'm just gonna post it to the story. Right. So, but that's cool because you know, within a short period of time, I have 40 nice clips. They do a pretty good job. So I do use some of the AI stuff, but for the most part, I still really enjoy the editing. The editing that I didn't enjoy as much, though, if I'm being transparent and honest, was some of the earlier like clipper review stuff that or vlogging, haircut tutorial. I personally didn't really enjoy that much, and more so I was doing it because I know that's the type of content that can work on YouTube, right? And that's what barbers are looking for, obviously. But that content itself was a little more challenging for me to edit. We got you out here to do that. You know what I'm saying? We got Marty Blends. We got some really dope content creators that do that. Marv, I'm not really trying to do that much, but all the other editing I do, like TikTok and the Instagram stuff and all, I love it. So I get real conflicted, but we'll see what the future holds.
I think another side of that is when you edit, you can look at it different, right? Like,
yeah,
if you're creating it and editing it and you get home and you're editing and you're like a dumb example would be like, oh man, my shoulder's in the way half the time. Like, so you maybe wouldn't have noticed that if somebody was editing for you. Or like the video you played at the beginning of this. Because I know how to edit and then I was going to edit it, as I'm filming it, I'm thoughtful of what the edit's going to be and what angle I want. And like I did where I'm like, which bag do I want to use? And then I got a shot like this because I knew that's how I was going to edit it. So knowing that helps you, like knowing both sides helps you kind of record accordingly to same reason that somebody editing for me is hard for them to necessarily always portray what I want them to portray. Yeah. That's why I edited that myself, because I would have been sick if I got it back and it was like, what the heck is this? Like, I thought it was self-explanatory, but I filmed it in a way that I knew I wanted to edit it. So I think it gives you more control over your content, but it also helps you, I think, record better content because you know what you have to do when you get back to the computer and edit it, right? Today, I did a transformation. This dude's hair was down to here, cut it all off. And I stopped recording. I probably did 8 clips. Some videos I'll do 2 or 3 clips, 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
I knew, you know what? This is a project. This is a long haircut. I'm going to record what needs to be in the video. I'm going to turn the camera off so I don't have to sift through all that footage and do all that. So again, like just that understanding and doing it yourself, it gives you a different look when you're making the content.
I agree. I love that insight. That's so true, man, because like you're saying, after you do it enough, you kind of know what works, you know what you're looking for. Then the recording process can get a lot easier because now you're just making sure you're capturing those key things as opposed to earlier on. You know, there's a lot. It could be a lot of footage to go through, bro. Yeah. I was explaining this to somebody one time. You know, trying to keep the videos around like 10 minutes in length or whatever, because it's got to be over 8 minutes so you can throw some ads in it. You don't want them too long, whatever the strategy is, right? But I'm like, just think about it. If I'm trying to rewatch my stuff, if I just rewatch it 6 times, there's an hour right there. Just in rewatch time, you know. So if it's a 20-minute video and I watch it 6 times, we're looking at 2 hours just in rewatch time. So, you know, the key, obviously, the point I'm trying to make is you do want to figure out different ways to like save time. You know what I mean? And when you're doing it on your own and recording on your own, over time, as you start to learn what works and what doesn't and what you need to capture, you can save a lot of time on the back end because you don't got to cipher through all of that footage. You, like you said, you just got to make clips. It's going to help make the process so much quicker as opposed to you having all of them 30-minute joints.
Yeah.
Whew. That could have been long. What are some of the mistakes you made earlier on when it comes to like actually filming? You know what I mean? That you think or you see that barbers had the potential to make those same mistakes, and how can you help them avoid them?
Yeah, I think tutorial-wise specifically, I think one of the hardest things for people is the focus on the camera.
Yeah.
And so like I've had a lot of people ask that question. And even my camera now does not have, my old camera, the lens had a focus lock on it. So I could like tap on the head, it would focus, I could lock it, I could put my hand in front of it and it wouldn't break it. Now my new camera doesn't have that. So
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I was so mad.
And honestly, like it's all in the same conversation, right? Like you get home to edit a tutorial and the whole haircut is going in and out of focus. And when you're starting, and it's like, for me, it was like, I have to post it because it's the only video I have. You know, I would watch, and I'll even watch other people, and it's like, man, that's really not making me feel good about this content that it's doing that, right? And that's a very tricky thing, especially when you're new, to figure out the focus. So I think that's super difficult. You know, Levi that's in here is talking about it. He's one of my barbers as well. He was recording today, and talking about, like, man, what do you think the best spot for the camera is? Like, so I told him where I put mine and why. Like, because I know I can stand here. I'll never block the camera. I can get this angle. I turn them like this to get this angle. And okay, yeah, that makes sense. So really just figuring that stuff out and then kind of sticking to a system. It's kind of like you said, if you're taking this person's system and trying it, and then you try this and then you try that, you know, it's a lot of switching up. It's a lot of changing and leaving room for error. But also, funny thing, the phone is way better at focusing. So again, like, if you're waiting to start for a camera, you're actually starting off really difficult. Like, I use Adobe Premiere to edit. It's difficult, but it's advanced, and I can do a lot of cool stuff with it. So if you got a phone in iMovie, I saw somebody ask, what do I need to start? Nothing. iPhone.
Yeah.
You can use iMovie on the iPhone. It has captions. You can do voiceovers. You can put music. Like, you can make a video with that. Now, is it going to be phenomenal? Can you do crazy stuff? Probably not. But again, if we're just trying to get some content out, you can use your iPhone. So I think that's probably the biggest ones. Forgetting to record, you know, but all of that really just comes down to, like, making things habit, remembering to check the camera remembering to make sure it's focused, remembering to stay out of the way. You know, those are just things you get better at after you do it 15, 20 times.
Yeah, bro. And you're right, man. Nowadays, these phones, the cameras on them, the mic sounds so good, and they got AI programs. Bro, I be using that Adobe Enhanced Speech. Have you used that yet? Oh, bro, what? Bro, when we're off of this, type in Adobe Enhanced Speech and just go ahead, bro. You can literally take the iPhone audio or just any audio. I save a live on Instagram, upload that audio into Adobe Enhanced Speech, and it would turn it into like podcast sounding sound. It's
wow,
bro, it's unbelievable.
You know, so I just recorded when I went to the sign guy. And so we went through my whole signage, what I'm going to get. We discussed, like, how big do you want it? What kind of material, like, whatever, all of it. And he had said, like, I'm cool with you recording, but I'm awkward on camera and I don't really like whatever. And so I set the camera up when I got there. I just hit record. I didn't even say anything about, like, all right, we're going to do this, or I just kind of let it flow naturally. So he never felt like we were prompting anything. But in order to keep him feeling comfortable, I just set the mic on the table in front of him. And my mic was on my chest. Well, I got home and I'm loud. And then, so basically I had to cut the video every time I stopped talking and cut his out and then raise his and lower mine. So I wonder if that would help.
Bro, I'm telling you,
I'm going to try it.
I think it's I'm not sure because I pay like $9.99 a month or something, but I think for free now they've limited it so you can upload like 30 minutes of audio per day for free, I think. But then it's like $9.99 a month. You get like up to 4 hours per day of audio that you can upload. Okay. But bro, it is amazing. It's unreal. You're like, you just look at it and you're like, bro, there's so many times now I'll just record a video with like just a regular mic or whatever, not even think too deep into it, upload the audio in there, and it sounds way better.
Because you know you don't have to. You know it'll do it. Yeah, that's cool. I definitely run into some situations where I did some shear work the other day on a video, put my smock on, and I left the mic sitting on my station. So I had like 2 minutes that was terrible. Yeah. So if that'll fix it, dude, I'm hyped.
Yeah, up to Adobe Enhanced Speech. I'll send it to you afterwards or whatever. You write it down.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's fire. But you know, to go back to some of the mistakes you're talking about, bro, like the out of focus thing, guys, that's so important, man. Like, because you'll be frustrated if you're trying to do barbering content or any type of content And when you're all excited to edit the video, it's out of focus. It's going to drive you crazy. And I've been there. I've been the tutorial guy, and I'm getting in the way, or the focus goes on me and my shoulder and face, and the haircut is all blurry. So making sure the focus is focused on the subject that you're trying to capture is key. Like you said, learning the angles, learning the positioning, learning where to place the camera is going to be key. And that is something you're going to learn through trial and error as you go through it. Another key thing I think is important, if you guys are using a camera like the one I'm on and not your phone, is making sure you have some extra batteries, because the worst thing, right? I'm sure you've been there where you're recording and the battery dies and now you don't got the backup. Now you got to charge it. So have some batteries on deck to charge those up too. I think that's super helpful. And then with the editing too, like Sean was saying, iMovie works great. Bro, CapCut is amazing, guys. The free version's amazing. And if you pay, I think it's whatever, $7 a month, you can edit on your phone and you can edit on the desktop, and you can do some really cool stuff in there. So for those of you that are trying to get started, definitely, man, if you got an iPhone, if you don't got an iPhone, get an iPhone. Stop playing with yourself. Get an iPhone. You got an iPhone, right?
Yeah, of course.
Every content creator needs an iPhone, right?
Prime example. I have my iPhone. There's a new feature. It is behind my MacBook, and it is my webcam right now because they're both Apple. Like, that's prime example why this is all better. It all is so synchronized, and you can use your watch to zoom and zoom out your Apple Watch and see what's on the screen. Like, come on.
Yeah, bro, you need an iPhone. It's just ideal for a creator, and it works well too because most people have iPhones, right? So, for an example, back in the day when I used to go to events and try to capture content, I had an iPhone, my wife had an iPhone, my boy I'd go with have an iPhone. We're all capturing content. Guess what we're doing at the end of the event? Airdrop. Right? And now we have all of this content we can airdrop. I got my MacBook that syncs to my iPhone. I airdrop from my phone to my MacBook, from my MacBook to my phone. So, get you an iPhone. Get you an iPhone.
Quit playing.
Right? Quit playing if you're a content creator. And if you got an iPhone and you got CapCut or iMovie, bro, get started. Because the mic on the iPhone, especially the newer one, is pretty good. So you can get away with that microphone. Or if you want to invest in one of the external mics, there's a lot of different options for that. But you guys could take note of the same gem I just gave Sean earlier when it comes to this AI stuff. It's Adobe Enhanced Speech. So you literally can record, just using your phone or whatever you're using, take that audio, upload it into Adobe Enhanced Speech, and it will turn it into audio that literally sounds like how I'm talking to you guys right now. It's so fired, and it's a cheap investment. Do you write any scripts or anything like that with your content, or you're just kind of off at the top of the head with it?
Yeah, most of it's off the top. I mean, of course, you'll know this as well as anybody. You start to get into familiar things that you naturally just say, and kind of rhythms and things like that. The furthest I get to a script, or the closest I guess I get to a script, is like me planning that GMB. I wish I had a GMB bag myself or whatever. But when I do that, that's when it feels unnatural, right? So I always feel like off top, even, I got these mics. You were just talking about mics. I got the DJIs, and I record my tutorials live now because off the top of the head, I'm going to give you the best, just same as this, right? Like, if we tried to plan this, the more we try to plan this, the less authentic and the really natural. Like you said when we talk, like, bro, if it goes 3 hours, it's because it just rolls, man. So I'm much more on the organic content. I don't really script anything, to be honest. I may have like points that I want to make sure I hit. Like if it's an unboxing and there's a certain new thing, like I maybe know beforehand that I got to make sure that I feature this. Or one thing I will try to do is, like, say I'm talking about a clipper and I say, like, or for example, I'm doing the signage video. So I plan to get B-roll of everything that he mentioned. This type of sign, this type of sign, this type of sign. That's not really scripting, but just more planning the videos. That's as far as it goes. I don't ever have like written out like the whole plan or what I'm going to say or any of that.
Yeah, bro. And it makes all the sense in the world to me, because that's why I feel like you're able to connect with people in such a genuine, authentic, and real way. And that's one of the reasons I feel like I am too, because we just speak from the heart and we just say what's on our mind. We speak our truth. We try our best to empower and we just do it without scripting too much, because I hate it, bro. Like if I'm trying to write a script and read along a script and do a video like this, bro, no.
Terrible.
No,
So
you know
bad.
what I mean? Like even for my content, like the reels and stuff on my YouTube, so many of them that I've done over the past, I've kind of got away from it, but you know, taking some of these gem talks, I'm resharing some more of it again. But so many of the content pieces that I've shared as reels that have worked well are just me going live on YouTube and answering questions in real time and just recording it the same way we're doing this right now and then posting it. And it comes off just genuine and authentic and it's from the heart. And I think that's why it works so well. And it makes all sense in the world why you connect with people the way you do.
No,
You're just speaking from the heart, bro.
That's funny that you brought that up, because we had a discussion the other day about and actually I saw like a reel or a TikTok about this, but apparently there's these claims that people will sit down. Like, imagine we're not on this right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That fake
People
podcast content.
Right?
Yeah.
They'll just put a mic here and they'll answer a question and make a piece of content, which I'm gonna be honest, I ain't gonna hate on them for that. Like, if it's a gym, put it out, make it look more professional. But the way you just said to do that, that is so fire, bro. I'm gonna have to probably bite you on that a little bit.
Do it, bro.
And set up with a mic, but like you look a little more professional with the mic in front of you. I got a mic like that, but and go live, and dude, you'll get 200 pieces of content out of that.
Bro, are you kidding me? It's insane because, bro, like just even this conversation right now, right? When all said and done, I can send you your side. You can do whatever you want with it, right? But even this conversation right now, just to be able to take what you're saying throughout this and chop it up, you know how many pieces of content you could have for Instagram, TikTok.
And see, there's my
YouTube
TikTok,
shorts.
right? Like that's my tutorials and stuff. I don't think fits TikTok, but that kind of stuff, similar stuff to you do, but the stuff that I talk about in that format, that's exactly what I've been missing. So I may attempt some of that soon. So be on the lookout. Let me know when you see it, what you think.
Bro, listen, bro. At the end of the day, here's what I'll say. You got my support and probably more of my support than you were aware of previous to this conversation. But, bro, I'm down to help you in any way when it comes to this social media and content and marketing and stuff. It's like this is my obsession, and I'm very big on simplifying a process. Like I said to you earlier, it's all about, for me, impact, time investment, income, right? So I'm always trying to figure out a way to simplify it. And once I figured out that I can set up my camera, I have the M50, it records for 30 minutes, right? I set it up, press record, set up my mic, record for 30 minutes, go live, engage with the people, answer some questions, get off of that live. Now I have that 30 minutes to go through. Bro, when I'm all said and done, I was having 10, 15 pieces of content just from that 30 minutes of just short 30-second, 45-second joints. So, bro, go for it. For it. Because you got game. You know what I'm saying? So that could be your strategy, like you were saying, to create sports reels and TikTok.
Yeah, and you're getting the questions from they're legitimate questions and very good answers that more people would want to hear. That may not be on that live. So that's so fire, bro. I'm hyped. You don't even know. Like, because I just put it all together now. Like with you saying that, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Because those are like, we recorded some stuff at our classes that we did with the same intention. Pull a little 30-second snippet out that's a gym. But you know how it is. Like the footage was shaky, or you can't hear it that well, or whatever. It's not that appealing to the eye because it's like I'm walking back and forth, whatever it is. And so like that's a killer way to put some gems out. And yeah, you're not on a podcast, but you are. Like you're live streaming. It's a you're answering valid questions and dropping some gems. That's sick as hell. I'm hyped for real,
bro. Barbers, drop some gems in the chat because we're about to get some dope Sean Cuts hair content. Bro, that's so fire, and I'm grateful that I could be helpful in that way. And You got me excited, bro, because my brain, like, I'm here with you in conversation, right? And I'm doing all my editing. I'm kind of schizo, I think. I think I got to, like, there's like probably like 20 people in here, right? But then there's that one part, there's that Marvin there that's like, yo, bro, like, my man Sean is crushing YouTube, but I can give him mad game when it comes to like TikTok and different stuff like that to help give him some direction to capitalize over there too. So hopefully I can help you in that way too, because bro, TikTok it's leading the charge. That it, like, I always give people the example of, if you can figure out TikTok, you're going to be able to figure out pretty much every other platform aside from long form YouTube, right? Because what's working on TikTok is going to work everywhere else. However, what's working everywhere else won't necessarily work on TikTok. So like what you were saying, you had that thing that crushed on Instagram, you put it on TikTok, it did nothing. That same thing happened to me. I'm the Marv Instagram guy doing a social media course. I'm like, let me go on TikTok. I'm taking all the stuff that's working on Instagram. That shit ain't doing nothing on TikTok. My ego was getting hit. I'm like, I'm not used to seeing 112 views. This video got 90K on Instagram. What's going on? So it wasn't working. But once I figured out TikTok, and I'm sure you've seen my little skit style content that started on TikTok, it works over there. Now, if I bring that over TikTok and I put it on Instagram, it works. As I put it on YouTube Short, it works. I put it on Facebook, it works. So figuring out TikTok for short form content helps you figure out all the other ones. So with all that being said, if I can help in any way with helping you figure out TikTok, it's going to give you a lot more content to work with. And I know you're going to do right by it, right? Like,
well, and it all helps each other, right? Like, even if, like, at the end of the day, I'm trying to educate. So like I said, my YouTube promotes that. But if I can put snippets on TikTok, because that's what needs to go there, which, like, I can't do really a very good snippet style tutorial. I know people do quick tutorials, but like, my content can't be repurposed on TikTok easily for that. But that's an easy way for me to be me and bring a gem or two here and there in a short form that can still bring you to my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like, come to my YouTube channel or whatever. So it can get me out there to that play. I think I got like 2,500 on TikTok. So we ain't even scratched the surface.
Let's go, bro. I'm excited to, when I go on Instagram, see you live on Instagram. Like, okay, my boy is cooking over there.
I'm gonna do it.
How many cameras do you got? Just one?
Yeah, just one. I use my phone a lot. So
yeah. Because I was going to say, even with that, if you figured out a way to, because you could capture the whole thing and then maybe turn that into a longer form content piece this way for YouTube.
I can screen record. I could do a YouTube live on my TV or on my computer and screen record it and take the camera angle too and make a piece of content. So
right. Because then maybe you turn that in a longer form and then you got the vertical, high quality for the shorter form. So let's get it, bro.
I like
Barbers. What were you gonna say? You gonna say something before I cut you off?
I like it.
Cool. So guys, what's up?
This is a thing I love, man. And you've seen it, I know, because you're out there and you're around. But there's a lot of people in the industry that what's the term, like gatekeeping, right? Like, bro, we could get off this and stay on this, me and you, for 2 more hours. You could tell me everything that you have to tell me. I'm still not going to be Marv. Like,
right.
Like, so I just don't understand. That's the same way I approach it. Like, I will literally tell you anything in a YouTube video. If you see me in person at a show, you can ask me anything and I'll tell you the answer. Like, because nobody's going to leave there and be me. Like, I just don't understand that. So I love conversations like this. Other people hopefully are taking some gems away. Obviously, that's the point of this. All of us collectively, including me, hopefully including you, are going to go to work tomorrow and do something a little bit better. I just love it.
Yeah, I love it too. And, it's the old saying of the game is to be sold, not told, and it's like, maybe that is true to a degree, I guess, right? Or maybe that was a strategy that was more effective back in the day. But I would argue now, the more you give, the more you're going to get, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, bro, for me, I can't tell you how many times, because I have my own hats and shirts or courses and stuff. I can't tell you how many times I've had people buy a shirt or buy a hat or join a course, and they tell me the reason they did it is just because I've helped them so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just trying to pay me back in some way because of all of the podcasts, everything I put out. They're trying to give back, right? So, in the same thing with you, you give so much that I'm sure you've had that happen where people they're just trying to figure out how they can get back to you. So, for those of you on here that may have that scarcity mindset, that fear of, you know, I can't give too much away. I can't give, or you're scared of a local company, whatever you're scared of, bro, it's an illusion, bro. You're never going to give and have less. You're only going to gain more by giving more, bro. So just give it away. I'm an open book just like you. I'm giving it all away. At the end of the day, I know my work ethic. I know my hustle. I know my heart. I know what I'm going to do. And I mean, unfortunately, the truth is you can give as much game as you want away. It's sad, but most people are just going to hear it, be like, it sounds good. And then, you know, it gets tough. And it's kind of like, you know, forget this. But even aside from all that, like, I ain't worried about nobody doing what they doing. In fact, I'm trying to give as much as I can so that we can all help each other and empower each other. I ain't scared to give nothing away. And that's what I respect that about you too, bro. You're just an open book. You're giving it all away.
I see you posting some of your people that have taken your course, and when they're doing great, you know what I mean? And of course, that's a paid course, but they probably paid for the course because you gave them so much free that they felt like they had to, right?
Exactly.
So, you know, we just talked about me doing these reels. I have no doubt in a month from now, if you see that you see me on TikTok and I got one that says 700K from a freaking fake podcast Q&A, you're going to be like, my dog, like, that's what's up. Like, because you helped inspire that. So, like, why does giving free game have to be negative? Like, you can help. I don't even know how many, throw me a number, like how many students you think that you see results from your social media course? Probably hundreds.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because there's over 1,400 people that have signed up. So.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You know, it was real fire for me, bro, where I'll tell you a couple things. The first thing that was real fire for me was, I believe it was last year's CT Barber Expo. And a few of the people who were on the list nominated for Content Creator of the Year, they have joined my course, part of my course, and are active in the course. Bro, that lit me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, clearly I'm not the only one that has helped them because they're trying to figure it out, right? But, you know, when they're showing me love and acknowledging that some of the stuff that I've shared with them has helped them, that, bro, like, selfishly, I felt mad good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's dope to see them taking it and crushing it. Then I got a barber right now in my shop. I'm helping him build his TikTok. Bro, he's already making money on TikTok. He went from 0 to 26K. We've been doing it a month. One month. He's already making money. Bro, it's Shoe the Beard King. You go on his TikTok. He's millions of views on a few videos. And more importantly, he's got people saying, where are you located? Where are you located? Bro, he's already got people driving 2 hours, 3 hours to come see him already because he specializes in the beard, right? He specializes in it. So he's got all these new people booking with him. He's making money through TikTok. Bro, I'm more excited to check out his TikTok than I am mine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I love seeing other people win because I don't know, man. I just have such that just like you do, that abundant mindset where it's like, yo, there's no reason to be scared to share stuff and help each other. We can all win, bro. You know?
Yep. And we are. If you look at, like you said, like 10 years ago when we were watching Vic and there was only a few, to now, you know, the amount of people making content on all the platforms is, I just lost power.
Hey.
Oh.
What do we have here, ladies and
look.
gentlemen? Yeah,
glow in the dark. Y'all didn't even know.
Yo, what do we
Y'all
have
didn't even know.
here? Oh,
hey.
Yo, it was like a scene out of a horror movie. If we had the right music.
I don't even know what that was. I don't know if the whole I'm in the whole plaza here. I don't know. Oh well, we're back on now.
It's just too many gems being dropped, bro. The energy is just too crazy. Couldn't keep up over there. Barbers, if you guys are getting a lot of if you feel like this is informative, helpful in any way, flood the chat with gems. Let us know you're rocking with us. You down to answer some questions, bro? You want to get in a little bit of Q&A? Of
course. Let's do it.
All right, let's do that.
I saw a bunch. So yeah, there's definitely some good ones in there. Let's get at people what they want.
Got you. So guys, ask some questions, flood the chat with questions. Also make sure at some point you follow Sean Cuts Hair on YouTube, especially, and all other social media platforms, TikTok too, because he's about to go crazy over there. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And also guys, make sure you check out my social media course too, man. You guys will love it. It's super informative. I know I got a bunch of Course family in here. Course family, you can let them know what time it is. Go to itsmarvymarv.com. You can find out all the info on there. You could also check out all my hats and shirts and all of that. You can check that out. You feel like showing some love and supporting. Make sure you purchase some hats, some shirts, join the course and all of that good stuff. Sonia said it was aliens. Who knows what it was? Right?
It was something.
But and that's family right there. All right, so let me go to my starred folder and see what's good. All right, so I'm sure you get asked this a lot. I already feel like I know how you're gonna answer this, but what's your favorite clipper and trimmer, bro?
Yeah, so
this time,
I get a bunch, right? So it fluctuates, and I'm pretty. I always say, like, I'm a creature of habit. So that's one thing. If you really want to know, watching my channel, if you watch what I actually use in my tutorials, then you know what I really rock with. So I'll review some stuff. I'll use it a few times. Most of the time, I mean, I get a lot of clippers, so I can't use them all. I don't cut that much hair.
yeah.
So if you really want to know what I like, watch my tutorials, not my unboxings, and you'll see what I'm really using on the regular. Right now, I'm using mainly the Low Pro FX1s. Those things are crazy.
They're fire. I haven't used them yet,
bro. Without a doubt, the nicest pair of clippers that I've ever had. Like, just holding them in the hand, like, they're insane. Man, this camera got me all messed up. The new blade is fire.
I love that gray. That's fire.
The battery coming out, like, they are the most quality. I should do a TikTok on this, like, asking clients, like, how much you think this is? They say $300. Like, they're just crazy. So that's my go-to right now. Really, that whole set. I got the whole kit, so I've been using all of it.
I love it. But it is interesting though, like, when you talk about how good clippers are, I don't know, I'm sure you probably got some of these comments, but when I've done some of the clipper reviews, they're like, you say every clipper's a good clipper. And I'm like, bro, like, I at the end of the day, right now, we are in a very good time in the barber industry when it comes to clippers, bro. I personally, I get sent a lot of clippers too. I was looking at my station yesterday, and all the clippers I got on there were sent to me. Looking at all my barber stations, because I can't use them all just like you, so I give them all to the barber. Right? They get gifts all the time, right? You know how it goes. But I'm like, bro, like, all of these clippers they're good in their own way. They all cut. Like, I can't say this clipper is trash. Not that I've been sent more recently. But then I mean, I'm probably not going to make a video, period, if I feel like the clipper's absolutely trash.
I won't say that anyway. Like, I'll say, like, to be honest, like I'll cut with it. It's all right, but this probably ain't gonna, like, it's not my favorite. I don't know if I'll keep using it, but I don't ever even talk crazy about nothing like that.
Yeah, that's dope. I'm currently rocking the JRL Onyx. I love them, and I've been and I've been using the new Instinct X for like the last 3 weeks. I think they're fire too.
They're good. I was never a fan of the Instinct. The Ergo is the same way. That motor, that buzz, it's just different.
Yeah, it's powerful.
I don't care. It is powerful. To me, it feels like it can't translate out of the clipper. It's like it's not giving it. You can't get it all out. So I don't love those. But the Onyx is, to be honest, I don't like the shape of it, but, like, it's quiet. That thing, like, they're kind of crazy.
Yeah, the people would say I vouch for the Onyx. I think I see. I like the feel of it. So for me, I don't really know. I can't really think of a flaw. I guess maybe longevity will tell, right? Yeah. But aside from that, I'm like, bro, this clipper is absolutely insane. But let's see what some of the other questions are. Boom. What are the key skills or techniques you wish you had mastered earlier in your career? And how do you recommend a beginner barber like myself approach learning them?
I don't think I have any that I wish I had mastered. I think my whole road went. I think I'm happy with it. But I think one of the things that you should focus on is customer service, and, like, the haircut is probably less than 50% of what is going to make you successful as a barber, which is something I'm sure Marv agrees with when he talks about, who cares if other barbers like your post on Instagram. That's the point of that. Is, at the end of the day, like, if the client's happy, the client's happy. And so I got barbers that aren't the best in my shop that are fully booked. And I think customer service, that is something that I did focus on, that I always took care of my people. I still do, sometimes to a fault. because I'll never, like, I will always take care of somebody. And, you know, I just go out of my way. But I think that will tell you why I'm sitting where I'm sitting. I do that in general for anybody. But I think if you focus on that, you know, showing up, working hard, being consistent, and focusing on the customers, it's real easy. I always joke with my guys at the shop, but they'll have a whole day that's not booked, and somebody won't show up, and they're like, "I'm blacklisting them. They're out
Yeah.
of here."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You've
Barbers
been sitting here
get
for
emotional.
4 hours."
Yeah.
Like, so again, we're like, you're forgetting that it's about the customer, like the client, whatever you want to call them. I know some people don't like calling them customers.
They're not customers. They're clients.
Yeah. But yeah, like if you focus on the clients first, the haircutting skills will come. All of that will come. You know, we get so caught up in where I can agree with Marv is sometimes too early on. We get caught up on the Instagram and posting and having all these clippers and charging more. And it's like, if you just do a good job, as good as you can, and you're confident and give the client a good experience, I don't see how you lose as a barber.
I love that. I love that. Yo, where can we motivate barbers? So gotta give me one of those G&B pro bags like that in the back. Where can we get the Sean Cuts Hair one? Where do I gotta send them, bro?
GMBpro.com. They are out for pre-order as of yesterday. There's only 100, and we sold 20 already. And there's one right there. So there's like, and that was earlier today. So there's probably like 75 left. They're gonna ship out like the 17th, I think. And I don't know that this is out yet, so I'll give you guys an exclusive. I can't show you because let me see if I got it on my computer. We're doing an event in Chicago with Los Cut It.
Let's go.
To drop the I don't have the thumbnail in here. It's in my video. Marv, you want to go pull it up?
Where am I going?
My newest video with my bag on YouTube.
Let's see.
So I believe January 8th in Chicago at HQ.
Right here?
Yeah, and go towards the end, like the last minute. There should be a flyer. You should see it. Boom, right there. Release event. All right. Yeah, so the 8th of January, I believe. It's not on there. It'll be on the website soon. But we're going to do a release event. If you get a VIP ticket to come, you will get a bag with that. And it's going to be a meet and greet. Me and Los. Los has his own signature bag as well, if you guys didn't know. And I don't know if we're going to be cutting hair, but I'm definitely trying to do a haircut or two, just do some cool stuff and just hang out. So you can get a bag that way, or you can pre-order it on the website. Like I said, they're pretty limited. I think that's going to be the only run. So
let's go.
They're sick. We just found out they're glow in the dark too.
Barbers, yeah, yo, facts, right? So just in case.
I need that snippet for sure, because I actually did know that, but I didn't know it at first. And my guy called me and was like, "Oh, it's glow in the dark, by the way." I was like, "For real?" And then I'll have to tell him, like, "Bro, literally the lights went out, and the only thing you could see was the freaking bag glowing in the background."
Bro, you know what I just realized? I caught you. Yo, chat, we caught him, bro. Yeah, we caught Sean. He wanted to show us how it was glow in the dark. He was like, "Yo,
I didn't even move."
Text wifey. He said, "Yo, flick the lights on and off real quick. Flick the lights on and off."
I got the clapper in here.
Right, chat? Let me know if we caught Sean. I think we caught him, bro. That's dope. Now that bag is fire, man. I love it. Thoughts from moving from a small city to a big city? What would you say to them?
That's interesting, right? So I don't know if you guys saw earlier when Basio said, "When's Marv and Sean moving to Tampa?" Right?
Yeah, facts. I told Basio I was coming too.
Yeah. So yeah, I keep dropping that on my wife. I don't know. It may happen one day, but you know, one of the things I actually enjoy, and hopefully you guys are getting from being on this live with me, and this is something I tell people all the time. I actually enjoy for two reasons. I like to go to shows and classes and hear people say, "Yeah, but I'm from over here, such and such. It's not that big. You know, I don't think I can do what you're doing." Yeah, well, do you know where I'm from? You know what I mean? So I like the fact that people can't say like, "Oh yeah, but you're from Chicago or you're from LA." You know, like that's a benefit. And I'm sure like obviously your market is bigger. whatever it is. But in the same way, whatever it is you're doing, if you go to a bigger city, there's just more people doing it.
Bro,
You know what I
my
mean?
shop in the city, you guys can look it up. It's in Rensselaer, New York. Okay. There's 9,000 people in the city of Rensselaer. So we're small cities out here.
Yeah.
We repping.
Yeah. So, but I actually like am proud of the fact that I've gotten to where I've gotten, and I'm from a small town in Kentucky. So, are there maybe benefits? Like, I'll tell you this more specifically, if we moved to Tampa to work closer with 245, like obviously there would be benefits to that. But I'm also easily able to fly down there when I need to take care of something and go around and take care of stuff. So I do enjoy the fact that I am from a smaller town. Now my guy Levi just commented and said, "Do it." He's from a town of 4,000. He just moved here to work and get a bigger opportunity. So again, that doesn't mean you can't benefit from doing it, but it also means that you can make, you can get where you want, you can do what you want from that small town. And my second point of that would be, I do travel a lot. I'm about to go to Chicago. I go to San Diego the next weekend. We go to Connecticut's not really it's not really like that. CT's not, but we go to LA. We go to Texas, Houston, all these big busy cities, busy weekends. I love coming back home to my calm, small area.
Bro.
Everybody's regular. Nobody knows who I am besides the guy
Yes.
that owns Clutch, and I can chill. Like, so, there's plus and minuses to all of it, but that's a little bit of two different sides to living in a smaller spot.
Bro, that peace and quiet and calmness hit different
Yeah.
when you're just in the chaos. I value that so much more, as I get older. I think part of it is just that we getting older too, bro.
That's 100% true.
I'm like, bro, I do so much online, so much traveling, seeing so many people. I'm like, bro, I'm grateful to be able to come back to my little small community and be just chilling. And like you said, nobody really knows me. I mean, they know me aside from like, I'm not Marvy Marv. A little bit more now with the TikTok, bro. Like I'll go to Dunkin' Donuts or something. And they're like, "I love your content." I'm like, uh-oh. I might have to pump the brakes a little bit, but I do like just chilling. So there are definitely benefits to that. Being in a small city. What do you what to do with the haters in the comments? You get a lot of that. I feel like you don't get a lot of that. Do you?
I get some. Funny, something you asked earlier, I was going to comment on this and I didn't, but I get told sometimes on my videos, like, this guy can't even cut that good.
Oh yeah, that's barbers.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then I also get like, like knowing your audience, I teach a lot of things in a basic way. I'm teaching for Josh OP next year.
Right.
Like, I'm going to be one of his educators teaching DFS formula. I can do the crazy styles, but like, I'm trying to teach people that want to learn how to cut hair.
Right.
So, I get comments like that, like, you can't even cut that good, or like, you must not have been cutting that long because the way you just did this. And to be honest, most of the time, I'll tell you, lately, I just delete it.
Yeah.
There's times you guys all do this. We all do this in a text. You type it up. You're like, man, go screw yourself. You're an idiot, whatever. And you're like, nah, delete it. Like, it ain't worth my time.
I just did that earlier today. Full transparency.
You
Type one up. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm about to get in a back and forth with this. No.
Yeah, right. I don't have time for that.
Right.
So you might type it out so you feel like if I said this, it'd be good, but I ain't even gonna do that to you. But yeah, I just delete them a lot of the times. It's always funny, right? Because it's almost like the same video will get all the comments. Like, it's the video that went a little more viral, not viral, but got more views.
Yep.
And once one person says something about something, then all of a sudden, you just get bombarded. So I'll either just ignore it and just leave it, which is funny for me. I'm like OCD in the fact of I still reply to every comment.
Really?
So it's either getting replied to or deleted, and I'm not going to argue with you. So that's my answer to that.
Yeah, I love it. And I think it's just important to remember who you're making your content for, and understanding that your content's not going to be for everybody. Yeah. And just understanding it's normal to feel that trigger or that response to that negativity, because that's just how we're wired as humans. We really can't do much about that initial response. Whether we linger in it and hang out there is a different argument, but that initial response it's a survival instinct. We're wired to seek out potential threats. So that way we can, if have to, we eliminate them or get out the way so we can survive. It's survival, it's nature for us. So just embracing that within yourself and knowing it's normal to see 100 positive comments and that one negative to trigger you. It's normal, but you don't have to argue with that person and go back and forth and stay in that and let it affect your whole day. It is wild when you think about it. Like, we'll get 100 positive comments. We won't say nothing to any of them, but we get that one negative one and we want to go back and forth with them all day. It's like, what are we doing? They're not even, number one, they could be somebody that's just miserable with themselves and they're just lashing out on you. You're just the person that was in the way at the time. It has nothing to do with you, right? Or it could just be somebody that just doesn't rock with you like that, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it goes back to just remembering who you are doing it for, who you're making your content for, and just being okay with that. And luckily, in the day and age of social media, we have the ability to just delete and block, right? Like, if you feel like it's taking that much of a toll on you or it's going to bother you that much, delete it and block it. Just move on. Right.
Yeah. No, I think Gary Vee, I'm a huge Gary Vee fan. I just like, he's a little hardcore sometimes on some stuff.
But he don't ever lie, bro. He speaks the truth. Yeah.
And he's got some real big gems, but he talks about that. I think there's a clip of somebody asking him, like, what do I do when I get these negative comments? And he's like, listen, like, stop and think about how that person has to be feeling. Yeah. We're talking about like the crazy ones.
Yeah.
Like, Marv, you're ugly and nobody,
Yeah, there's a difference between criticism, which that can be unwarranted, but some people are just trying to give you constructive criticism that we take as negative, but then there's like what you're saying, that's just hateful stuff.
If it's somebody that's just being an ass just to do it, like, think about how miserable that they have to be to stop and comment on really a stranger's social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, and feel bad for it. Like, you don't need to go back at him. Like, and he says in that he'll say, hey man, I can tell by your comment that you're going through a tough time or you're having a bad day. I hope it gets better for you. Yeah. Ooh, man, does that sting worse than me arguing with the dude? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And there have been times where I've said things like that to people, not obviously those specific words, but things like that. And it might lead to them being a little more mad in that moment because it like stings. But then I've had people hit me up the following day or later, like, yo, I was going through it. My bad. I didn't mean, so it's been like, whoa. And then there's been times, especially, this is something on TikTok that you'll learn once you start growing. It's
don't tell me.
It's a roasting culture. So it literally is like, I don't know how your culture is in your barbershop, but the barbershop culture is a lot of roasting and messing with each other. So that is heavy on TikTok. So initially going over there, especially at our age, some of the stuff that people may say is almost like, wow, that's disrespectful, or who are they? But if you just acknowledge that they're right or agree with them or play back with them, the craziest stuff comes from it. Like, I've had people say, bro, you're the worst barber. I would never sit in your chair. You know, I post pictures of your videos of your haircuts. You must clearly suck. And I'm like, yeah, I don't post them because I'm trash, bro. And they're like, ha, ha, ha. Love your videos, man. Keep up the good work. And you're like, what?
You could have totally took that wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that's all they were just playing with you or whatever. Yeah, that's funny.
So there's a few ways to respond to that, right, guys? You block it, delete it, ignore it, or you can just, sympathize with them and show some compassion, because clearly in a lot of instances they're going through something if they're lashing out and spewing hate your way, right? You can show some compassion, or you can just agree with them. It really messes trolls up when you agree with them, and they're just like, yeah, your haircuts suck. And you're like, yeah, they do. They're like, well, that wasn't what I was looking for.
That didn't work out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's big.
A few ways to respond to it. Let's see. What's the number one gem you would give for an up and coming barber?
Yeah, I think we talked about it early. Like, you got to be available. So when I got here to do my live, our shop had been closed for almost an hour, and my two new guys were still here. And
fire.
I walked in, I said, I love it. And they're like, what? And I was like, both of you still working, everybody's gone, which, my appointment guys didn't have an appointment. They left. It's cool. But they were willing to stay an hour late and cut. And the first one of them told me that somebody gave them $100 today because they came in. It was busy. It was closing time. They saw the other barbers leaving. Oh, this is what I, kind of told them how I see it at the end. But they sat here. The other barbers, I got to go. I got to get home for dinner, whatever. They stayed, regular haircut. One of them got $100. My cousin that just started, he's been here 10 days. Another guy came in and said something about he had somewhere to be at 6:30 or something. Dude gave him $200.
Fire.
And so I said, dude, if that's not the biggest lesson for you guys, I don't remember who. This might be an Ivan Zoot. You'll know because you mess with Ivan.
Yeah.
If you've been sitting in the shop all day with 0 clients, you haven't done a haircut all day, and somebody walks in 10 minutes before close, and you say, hey, brother, I got you right here. I've been waiting for you. I got you. And everybody else is leaving and whatever. Man, that client feels like you're there to take care of them. They're going to be your client. They may pay you better that time. Like, it's that simple. It really, that's all it comes down to is just taking care of people, man. We're in the people business.
Yeah, absolutely. And availability is so huge. And as a barber, availability, convenience they're so important, right? And it's hard for us as barbers to step out of our barber body and our barber box that we've created in our mind and remember what it was like when we were customers, right? Because now we're barbers and we see it through such a barbering lens. But convenience and availability are so important to the customer, man. And I could speak as a traveling barber that does content, social media, and I'm only in a shop 2 full days a week now cutting hair. I'm in and out throughout the week and stuff. But you know how many people, they don't care I'm Marvy Marv. They don't care I'm traveling. They don't care I got these social media followers. They need their haircut. So the fact that my availability is not what it once was, they're willing to go to other barbers in the shop, which I love that. Or they go somewhere else. So as a beginner barber, man, just by you being available, you'll be amazed at how much quicker you'll build than somebody who is just not as available as you. I can't tell you how many times earlier on in my career, I'm the first one there, getting there a little early, maybe doing an appointment even, right? Because I'm booking an appointment before hours and a walk-in comes in and I'm like, well, here we go. Or I'm staying a little bit later and a walk-in comes in. It's like, here we go. Next thing you know, you're cutting them for years. Whereas the other barbers may have slept in because they didn't have appointments or, they just decided they weren't coming in till later or the day's going on. It's slow and there ain't nothing going on. I might as well just go sit home. And then as soon as they leave, guess what happens? 2 people walk in, so just be willing to be available, especially earlier on in your career, man.
I heard a huge one. I don't remember. I got all these gems. I'll give credit that somebody said this. I didn't come up with it, but one of the best things I heard was like when you're new, every client that leaves the shop, like my 2 guys I just talked about are the front 2 chairs. Yeah. Every client that leaves, you tell them, hey man, have a good day or whatever. Make conversation when you can. Say hello, say goodbye. The barbers around you, speak to their clients. Guess who they're going to go to when Marv's out of town?
Yep.
Easy.
Absolutely. And just being friendly, bro. It's wild to me to think that there are barbers that will be in a shop and see somebody come in and it's not their client and they don't even head nod, acknowledge, nothing. It's just look down. And some barbershop cultures, you have to be like that because it's toxic and barbers feel like you're trying to take my client. Like, why are you talking to my client? There are barbers like that exist. And if you're in that environment where you can't even say what up to somebody else's client, it's time to go, time to be out. But, in the culture I try to create in my shop is it's a big family. Like we all have relationships with each other's clients, with each other. It's a whole family experience and the clients love it. And you could benefit so much, like Sean's saying, simply by just saying, hello to clients. I have one client now that have been cutting pretty much my whole career, man. He would come into the shop, go to another barber that used to work with me back when I first started. He was coming in every week. The barber ended up leaving, going somewhere else. He made an appointment with this guy, but didn't tell him he relocated. So when the guy came to the shop, he was looking for him. He wasn't there. I told him where he went, told him he could, I can call him, let him know you're on the way. You can go over. It's only 15, 20 minutes away. Nah, I'm here already. Can you fit me in? Absolutely. I fit him in. Still cut him to this day, right? Yep. But the reason why he was so comfortable sitting in my chair is because I was always friendly with him. You know, when he was in there, he wasn't my client, but I was always friendly with him. And now fast forward to today, you know, I still cut him. So I love that you shared that. It's so, it's simple, but it's so like undervalued because we're just, you know, barbers, we're trying to, how do I make my fade blurrier? Should I buy the low pro FX ones, or, you know, what should I do? Because I want to get clientele, and, you know, all of that stuff matters too. But at the same time, it's just say hello, be friendly to people, and you'll be amazed at how big your clientele can get. Be consistent, be punctual. That's very important as well. Let's see. I think there was a couple other ones. Let's see. We pretty much covered that.
You're out of focus, Marv.
I'm out of focus. Oh,
come on. Yeah, there we go. Hey,
bro, you know what's crazy, man? Because like I was telling you how the Wi-Fi would go out sometimes, because I'm all new to this too. So,
yeah,
you know, the one with Lowe's Cut It, I was so upset, bro. I don't know if you've seen it, but we went live for like 3 hours, and there was like an hour and a half where it was like 240p quality on my end. Like, oh, and I didn't know. And most people didn't tell me because they thought it was on their end. They thought, right? So I'm watching it back and I'm like, damn.
This is terrible.
Dude, bro, and you know how Los is. Los is artist. He's got the nice camera, the nice mics too. So I'm like, this is dope. And yeah, that happened. But it was a learning experience because then I did my research. Now I'm connected. So pretty much the internet's been good since I've been direct connected. But I appreciate you shouting out the out of focus because,
well, we just talked about it, you know, so I thought I'd give you the shout out.
I appreciate it. Any advice on getting hired at a barbershop and what to look for while looking for a shop?
I always tell people I feel like it clicks. Like I feel like you'll feel at home. You'll vibe with the owner and the barbers, and you'll know. I think when people come in, I can tell just as much as them. I just had an interview the other day with a girl that we're trying to move over to our new shop, and you know, I think it went both ways. She asked why I thought she was a good fit for us, and why we were a good fit for her. And I think it mutually benefited each other. I think you can tell. You know, you just said something about a shop where they're you know, they think you're stealing clients and those type of things. That's similar to the situation that she was in. And then, you know, what she's looking for is how we operate, you know, no ceilings, operate how you need. Every question she had, do you have a set price or can we charge what we want? Well, within reason, you operate how you want. Do you do this or do you do that? Whatever you need. What about this? I need this for my schedule. Can you work with that? Yeah, I can work with that. You know, like, you're going to know if it clicks or not, I think. And, you know, you may be in a situation where at the time there's only a couple opportunities to choose from, and you just got to use your judgment. I think we're all very different. The vibe that we like to be in, maybe you like a quieter shop with not as many chairs. Maybe you want that loud roasting atmosphere. You know, 13 chairs in my shop, it's loud. We got music on. They're roasting each other. So I think you know where you fit and what feels natural, but I think the shop should make you feel a certain way. I think talking to the owner, you'll have a vibe whether this is going to be for you or not. And we always recommend, like, go spend some time, get a haircut, and sit through a haircut. Then go to another shop the next time and get a haircut, whatever it is, and just do your due diligence a little bit. And I think you can fill out. You know, I think we all. I don't know the word I'm looking for here, but like instinct, like. Yeah. Like you're gonna know. In a lot of situations, you know, you're being told the answer. You just have to, you know, pay attention, and it'll present itself to you.
I love that. I think that was great insight, bro. Great. And to add to it, one thing I'm huge on, especially the more I've evolved as a barber, is making sure that I point out to you guys that you do not owe the first shop that gives you an opportunity a lifetime of loyalty, bro. Because it's going to be tough if you go to a shop that gives you a shot. You know what I mean? Like you get all excited to work in a shop that give you a shot, and then you just realize that it doesn't seem to be going the way you thought it was going to go, or it's just not really for you. It's going to be hard to leave. It's going to be hard because you're going to feel that sense of, you know, am I leaving too soon, or should I give it longer? Or, you know, you're going to have all of these thoughts, but at the end of the day, like Sean was saying, you have that intuition, that instinct, and you know what I'm saying? So just because the shop gave you a shop doesn't mean you need to stay there, you know, longer than you know you need to stay. And you may run into a shop owner that is very good with words and can be manipulative and can guilt trip you. And you got to be strong to know, like, all right, I know this ain't right for me. So regardless of what words are being said, I've seen enough actions to know that this isn't right for me, and be out. Right. I'm huge on that. You don't owe the first shop that gives you an opportunity, lifetime loyalty. And I would also say that don't just jump on the first shop that you go to get hired at too. I mean, if you're in an area where there's only one or something like that, that's different. But if there's a handful of shops in the area and you go to the first one and they're all excited and they're willing to hire you, maybe try out the other ones too. Go for an interview to the other ones too. You know, because I feel like, I don't know, I think most barbers, myself included, the first shop that I went to see if they would hire me, they hired me, and I went and I worked there. You know what I mean? Luckily, I knew enough back then to know that just because they gave me the opportunity, I didn't owe them a lifetime of loyalty. And, you know, fast forward to today, I made a great decision by leaving. But yeah, guys, like, just know that you don't have to work at the first shop that gives you an opportunity. I think that's important to point out.
It's funny you say that, because the girl I was talking about is in that exact spot. She has so many reasons, as she's telling me, that where she's at isn't good for her anymore. And, you know, obviously it's my shop, so I feel like this is better for her. But genuinely, I'm telling her, look, I'll do what I can from my end to help you thrive. Her dad has some medical issues. Anytime you need to offer him, communicate it. Not a problem. Like, I'm giving you all the reasons that, like, she knows.
Yeah.
So we left the meeting. Yeah, JT knows the story.
Yeah.
We left the meeting and my guys were like, so what, is she in or is she not? And I'm like, well, I told her I didn't need an answer. She's in. She's just got to talk herself through it, right? She does feel loyalty to that first shop.
Yep.
But that owner is doing nothing to help her out. She has so many things that aren't going her way that don't benefit her. And she's the one in the shop working from open to close while everybody else is off and going home early. And there's so many things. And then all the things over here are pretty much all positives, all a step forward. And she just has to convince herself, you know, like I could tell when she left that her instincts were telling her, this is where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
But she has to let that catch up to her and, you know, convince herself that that's the right move. So
yeah,
you nailed it though.
Yeah, she's got to figure out a way to, like, because fear is the biggest motivator, right? So if you want to motivate yourself, you have to, whatever it is you want to do, you have to add on the fear to the thing that you're trying to stop doing in order to do the thing that you know you need to do. So in other words, a better way to say it is, she's got to get more scared of staying there than she is of leaving there. You know what I'm saying? And once she tells herself that story, it's a wrap. And that's a thing you guys can do for yourself too. It's a little brain hack that I try to do. It's like, whatever I'm trying to do, I try to just scare the hell out of myself. Like, whatever current habit I'm trying to break, I try to scare the hell out of myself and show myself all the ways that keeping this habit is going to be bad for me, right? Because fear is going to be your biggest motivator. So if you're in a situation where maybe you know you need to leave a shop, right, or you need to do something that you've been talking yourself out of doing, you just got to think of all the reasons that scare you, you know, like scare you. If I stay at this shop, this bad thing can happen, and this really bad thing can happen, and this really bad thing can happen. And once you pile on enough of those, you're going to be like, you know what? I'm out onto the new shop.
What was I thinking? Like, there is no reason for me to stay here. This is crazy.
Yeah. And you just got to be careful with people too, man, because they're very good at, you know, with words, man. And always pay attention to people's actions, guys. People can say one thing, especially when they're good communicators and they have a lot of life experience of being persuasive or manipulative, but you got to pay attention to actions, bro. You've been at this shop and in a situation and you've seen how it's going. And then somebody's trying to sprinkle some words and make you see it different and gaslight you. It's like, sounds good, bro, but nah, I got to be out.
Yep.
Barbers. So there was another question I wanted to hit to real quick. Was there ever a time where you thought about quitting, or just was it all or nothing straight out the gate? Did you ever get really close to it?
Yeah, not really. I'll tell you, I really don't quit at much. And my dad is a counselor, changed careers later on in his life. And he's very much like me, and his counseling is based around temperament. And I asked him a question one day. This is going to sound, if any of you in here don't know me very well, this is going to sound really cocky, but I asked him one day, like, how come I feel like I'm so good at so many things and I always figure it out and make it work, and like it always happens. Like I don't quit. And he said, your temperament never looks at it like failing is a possibility. Like you're looking at, I want to learn how to do this. Like I'm going to learn how to do this and make it happen. So that's never a thought. And if there's something that, not even that I put thought into that I can't do it, I just don't even aim that direction. I know my strengths. I know what I can do. So with that being said, I knew I could cut hair. Definitely there was times that YouTube was getting hard and I was like, man, maybe I'm going to take some time off, but I knew that consistency or lack of consistency was going to kill my channel. So kind of that fear, right? What is going to happen if I do take a month off? It's like stopping going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't going back. So I did not, to be honest, no, I never thought about quitting cutting hair. Definitely had some difficult times. And, I thought about getting out of the barbershop. There was a time that it was just a time. It was just a time, man. The barbers the attitude wasn't great for a while. I felt like I couldn't get, out of my barbers what I was wanting out of them. I didn't know how to approach it, and I was ready to get out. There was no benefit to me at that day,
Yeah.
But I think I quickly got over that, and we've turned it around. But I think it's natural to be hard on yourself. Those certain days that everything's going wrong. And I'll be honest, I had a couple this past week. This has been an exhausting week working on the new shop. But kind of like you said, like the fear of not doing it, in a sense, I never even really looked at it at the way you just said that. But I always find a way.
Yeah.
And if I know where I want to land, then not getting there is not an option. The time frame may change, the route may change, but I'm going to figure it out. And I've always been really good at figuring it out. We talked about that earlier. If you want to own a shop, you better be good at figuring stuff out. So I think I always just look at it as an obstacle, but I'm never turning around and stopping. So
I love it. You have the you're more scared of looking like a quitter to yourself than all of that other shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's so big with your identity and it's so important to you that you put your back up against the wall and figure that everything out before you gotta feel like you are a quitter. You're not going there. You're terrified of that. And that's your motivation. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think you touched on earlier, like we're a little bit older than probably a lot of people in these gym talks and things. But I think something you learn the older you get is like, it will be okay.
Yeah, facts.
Tomorrow will be better. And if tomorrow's not, maybe next week will. And it will turn around. And the only reason it won't turn around is if I quit.
Right.
And then a year from now, who knows where I could have been. So I think that's the difference. I think that comes with age. Knowing that you're going to have days, you're going to have things that mess up, you're going to have obstacles, and just overcoming it and figuring it out. And the end result is always more powerful and worth it, especially when there was obstacles. And you'll never get there if you quit. So
that's a fact, bro. And one of the things that I've also learned as I've gotten older too, and just through, whoever I've learned it from, I've listened to so many podcasts, read so many books, had so many of these conversations. It starts to all blend together, right? It's hard to pinpoint where you learn certain things from. But hold on, there's a strong will, there's a way. This is the main point I want to say is when your back is against the wall, you figure it out, man. Necessity is the mother of invention. Like when you need to figure it out, you always do. We always do. It's just a basic thing we have wired in us as humans. It's survival, bro. Like when we gotta figure it out, we always do. It's a superpower. But so many of us are scared to put ourselves in that position. Like we never want to be in a position where our back's against the wall or we cut off plan B when there's only plan A. We're so scared to go there. But what we often don't realize is that that's where our superpower lies, bro. When you give yourself no other option, when you cut it off, when your back's against the wall, bro, you're going to be amazed at what you can accomplish and what you'll figure out. And guys, you can just look at your life and give yourself all the proof of that you need. You can think about so many times in your life where your back was against the wall. You had no idea how you're going to figure it out, but you knew you had to. And guess what you did, bro? You figured that shit out. Yeah. So I say all that to say, take advantage of that superpower and consciously and willingly induce it on yourself. And you'll be amazed at what you're able to accomplish and what you're able to get done. If you just cut off, no other option, put your back against the wall and say, listen, I'm going to figure this out. And that's, like you hearing a lot of what you said throughout this conversation, that's what you do, whether consciously or not. You cut it off. It's just like, I'm going to figure it out. And guess what you do every single time? You figure it out. So shout out to you for that. Shout out to all of y'all for that. Barbers, how have y'all felt about this conversation? If you feel like it's been great thus far, drop a bunch of gems. We're getting to the 2 hour and 40 minutes in point, so I think we got to wrap this up. Let me know, guys, in the chat, if there is going to be a time you're going to want to see Sean back on Gem Talk so we could talk about a whole lot more. Barbers, let us know in the chat. How you feeling about the Gem Talk, man? You over there, Sean. How you feeling, bro?
Oh, I love it, man. It's good.
You deep in thought over there. You starting to get tired. Where you at?
I was reading some comments. Yeah, realist Gym Talk. That's what's up. No, a lot of times, when you do stuff like this, it is very planned, and we kind of talked about that. And so I think it's just been tight to. I mean, shoot, we joked about the time, and you're like, nah, man, hour and a half, maybe 2. I was like, well, I'm going to block off my night because I've seen how you do these things.
Yeah, bro.
But, when you get people together that are passionate about a lot of the same things, and we both know a lot about it, and there's no course we have to follow. That's naturally how you get the best content, the best gyms. And so I haven't done much where I had 2 hours and 40 minutes just to talk real about whatever, So I think we hit a lot of different stuff. Hopefully people got the value. And, man, I'm in to do it again whenever. You just let me know.
Let's go, bro. So, guys, if you haven't done so already, take a screenshot. If you're watching this on your phone, if you're watching on your TV, I love when you guys watching on your TV. It's so dope seeing y'all watching on your TV. Plus, it frees up your phone. I'll be trying to tell you all that. But take a picture of it on your TV. And so that way, because we're going to wrap it up soon, and that way you can post it on your story, tag me and Sean in it, so that way we can show you some love and just give us some feedback. Let us know your thoughts on that. If you haven't done so already, you got to follow Sean Cuts Hair, man. You got to go and follow him on YouTube, especially. Oh, man, I got to mute to pull up the YouTube real quick. But make sure you follow him on all social media platforms, but especially YouTube. He's got a ton of content on there. Such dope content, helpful content. Go check it all out and follow him on all social media platforms. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're enjoying these Gem Talks. And if you guys haven't checked out itsmarvymarv.com, make sure you do that too. Check out my interactive social media course. Check out all of the merch. We got the hats, shirts, hoodies, all that fun stuff. And guys, if you do decide that you want to join the social media course tonight, if you mention you joined after watching this, just DM me after you sign up and let me know, and I'll make sure I hook you guys up with something special for joining after watching this live. So glad we finally know Marv messes with Sean.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me
right.
too. No, Marv, bro, like I was totally joking. But
yeah,
you know how
I know,
it is, bro. Like we go to these shows, and some people you just can't get a read on. So I was joking with you. I knew we were cool again because of the people we have in common. But you know how it is sometimes, man. It's hard to read people sometimes. And if they say what's up just because they got to, and you came up like me, like we were nobodies, and now people start to talk to you. So it's just always interesting. So yeah, I enjoyed this big time, dude. I am super hyped. I think it went great. So
yeah, I do too, man. And I'm grateful that you spent 3 hours of your life not only just kicking it with me, but kicking it with the people, man. And all of you guys too, tapping in, because I know a lot of y'all hung out for a good portion of this. As I always say, every one of these Gem Talks I do, me and Sean appreciate the hell out of y'all too, because time is our most valuable asset, guys. And time's the one thing that once you give it, you never get it back. You know what I'm saying? Once you give your time, you never get it back. And that's why I'm grateful for you, Sean, because I know, you know, these are 3 hours of your life you're never going to get back. And plus you came, you dropped a lot of gems, you impacted people, changed some lives with this. You impacted ways that you'll never really know, right? Like it's hard to measure, but you know, you helped a lot of people, and I'm grateful for that. And I thank you for doing right by this platform I worked so hard to build. And again, I thank you guys for engaging, asking good questions, kicking it with us. And we're definitely going to have to run it back, bro. Any last thing you want to say to them before we wrap this up?
I'm going to tell you this. I can't tell you details yet. But if you guys aren't following me, you're not subscribed, I'll be first of the year, I'll be dropping the biggest news of my career yet. It's crazy. And so I'm super excited. I wish I could tell you, but I really don't think I'm allowed to tell you yet. So big deal. Man, it's a crazy year for me. And again, like, because people are willing to get on here and listen to us talk and watch my videos, and because of all that, it's put me in the position I'm in. And like I said earlier, like everything we're doing this next year is about to be beyond anything I ever imagined. So I appreciate all my people. If anybody's in here that didn't know me, I appreciate you guys in here too. But if you're not subscribed, either if Instagram's your thing, go follow me on there, holler at me on there. YouTube, both platforms, I'll be dropping.
Bro, I'm not trying to hear it, y'all. Y'all are on YouTube watching us right now. Subscribe to his YouTube, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be huge. And Marv, you're gonna trip too when you hear it. So
I can't wait, bro.
I'll tell you if you text me separate, but
yo, facts. And actually, that's what I was gonna say to you. If you could just hang out for like 5 minutes after I end this live, so we chop it up for a couple minutes. Barbers, we appreciate you, man. Thanks again for kicking it with us. Until next time, keep chasing greatness, and we will tap in with you soon. Make sure you go rewatch this. Make sure you throw this on up in the shop when you're up in the shop tomorrow, and you know what I mean. Make sure you watch the whole thing. Show the other barbers. Let everybody know this is a valuable conversation, and if you've gotten a lot from it, the people in your life can get a lot from it as well. So make sure you throw it up on the TV in the shop tomorrow. Barbers, we'll tap in with you guys soon. Next Gem Talk. Have a good night, y'all.